Yo, what's up, guys? How are y'all? Hope y'all are having a good day. All right. What's up, guys? Hopefully, y'all are having a good hump day. Not hump day. What the fuck am I talking about? Monday. Jesus Christ. Uh, what's good? How are y'all? Oh, all right. Let's see what we're watching today. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff I want to watch that's not on the list that y'all didn't request. One of them's like an Angry Cops video, and I think that's it. Yo, Richard, what's good, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. How are you? Hope you've been having a good 2025. Oh no, I still gotta clean my glasses. I fucked up. All right. While I do this, did any of y'all put anything on the list? That way I know what to look at first. I think if it was patrons, they would have told me already. Okay. Hate it. Anything Fat Electrician. Alright. Lucky for you, I'm always down with Fat Electrician. Bro, you know what I just realized? Because I can see myself right now. I have to get a haircut. And I have to shave. For why? For who? No one. And for no reason. But I'm starting to look like a hobo. I gotta fix this. I could just say fuck it. But I am just gonna I have to do. I'm starting to look like a goddamn Puerto Rican Wolverine. Ugh. Started last Monday, 20 miles north of California, and ended the week 5 miles south of Canada. Are you a truck driver, Richard? That electrician needs to do an hour video every day. Shit. I don't know if we'd be watching a Fat Electrician hour-long video every day, but we have watched a few. No, not really. I mean, not fresh Katai, but just not looking like a hobo. Right? Because I know motherfuckers probably be pulling up on the stream and being like, he can afford a bed, but he can't afford a fucking haircut. Then again, I'm not really stressing all that much. It's just, I just need to trim really the sides of my face. I need to take care. I need to do something about this. So right here, I need to get rid of this. And then all this, I need to get rid of that. If I get rid of that, and then I'll be fine, right? And then maybe trim up here, because at this point, all this hair gets in my mouth whenever I eat, because when I bite on something, hair is getting in the way of what I bite. So I gotta do something. I know, just missing the claws, if only. No, work on heavy equipment, so it was down there Monday, Wednesday, and oh, okay, so just a lot of traveling for your job. Gotcha. I mean, I did have the bro. I mean, I'm on my way back. I'm on my way back to that Katai with the long hair. But okay, let's check. Ubisoft's billion-dollar game cucked by a meme. What? What game? And why did it cost $1 billion to make? That sounds like nonsense. Oh, David, are you gonna make us watch some more Robot Chicken? Assassin's Creed Shadows of Wokeness? Really? What? Yeah, the Adult Swim Europe Robot Chicken X-rated Rescue Rangers. Yeah, I saw that. And then Smitty Predictions compilation. I like those. Those are fun to watch. Because I can kind of sort of do the same thing. Sometimes. Probably not as consistent as Smitty, but as much as he games, he's bound to have more than a couple instances or situations of him calling something out. And it's just, when you know a game, bro, you just know a game. I've been able to do exactly what he does sometimes, like, oh, bro, you're gonna run past this corner. I know it because you're stupid. And I know you're going this way, and I'm gonna shoot you in the head. And boom, that's exactly what happens. It's so much fun to do stuff like that. But you have to, like, you can't just do that on a game that you played for, like, 5 minutes. You have to, 9 times out of 10, that usually happens on games you put, like, hundreds of hours in to be able to, like, make predictions like that and calls because of just your intuitive nature because of how long you've played the game. So you know what, we might go with that first. Let me check the other list. Okay, we already did that one. Oh, damn. I will have to go back to that. That's fine. It was just weird. It was only a minute. It wasn't that long, but yeah. That's unfortunate. Assassin's Creed Shadows, that would have been fire. I was actually looking forward to that game. I played Assassin's Creed Mirage. That was the last Assassin's Creed that I played. It was like set somewhere in Iraq, I think. And I was kind of looking forward to Assassin's Creed Shadows because Assassin's Creed Shadows was set like what in Japan? I think like Japanese samurai type shit. And I was hell excited, but I don't know. Maybe it's fun. Maybe it's still great if like you fucking take away the dialogue and the story, and then you're just left with the gameplay, I suppose. Okay. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was so much fun, man. It really was. All right. Let me see what this request was. You know, we should just watch that right now since we're on the topic of it. I know Reverend's not here, but hey, what's going on? Ubisoft's billion-dollar game cucked by a meme. No, it's not Assassin's Creed, it's Skull and Bones, which, yeah, I heard that game was massive. Like, that game had like a massive budget. And like, I was like kind of excited for that game up until like it just like never came out. And maybe it came out already, but yeah. Pirate game, bro. And I was like hella excited for this game too. I don't think it came to console. I think it was just for PC. But I was hella excited for this game because at the time when I heard about this game, I was playing Sea of Thieves. And I was like, dope, another pirate game, and it's more realistic and it's fucking better, right? I was excited. But then, I don't know, I guess I just lost track of it. And I don't know. I don't know. Did the game ever come out? Because like I got tired of waiting for it. Like I would like sometimes watch videos and read articles about the game and stuff like that, but then it just like never came out. I was like, fuck it, I'm done tracking this. I was like, it's never gonna be a thing. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Watch closely as the Virginia Lottery's Bucks Triple Play online game becomes 3 games in 1. No way!
Okay, that's
over here.
still not
Men
enough.
only want one thing, and it's not money. It's not.
Oh, it's starting. Okay. Happening. Here we go. Ubisoft. Last thing Ubisoft did. Maybe they did something recent, but didn't they do? No, that was CD Projekt Red. Did Ubisoft do? Last thing I can recall that they did was The Division. Maybe they did something up until recently too. I don't know. Wait, no, they did, right? With did I play it? No. Yeah, that's all I can think of. The Division. The other games are like less than stellar, but I don't know. Maybe. Probably right. Yeah. I forget Ubisoft does Far Cry. So if there was a recent Far Cry, then that's the most recent Ubisoft game. I see a lot of shit, bro, like a lot of videos and stuff of people saying Ubisoft is done, Ubisoft is dead, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, they still have Far Cry though, right? So I mean, maybe for I wonder what's their flagship game? You know, like Rockstar Games has Grand Theft Auto, and so and so Studios has Gears of War, and Activision has Call of Duty. Does Activision even make another game? Now that I'm on that subject, do they even make another game? Because you know, like Ubisoft makes shooters, but they also make other shit. And there's other companies out there that make shooters, but also make other shit. Make other shit, but sometimes make shooters. Does Activision make anything else except for Call of Duty? I don't even know.
Men only want one thing, and it's not money, it's not power, it's
Imposing my feminine dominance, brother. Yar, pimp! Sorry, didn't mean to hit you with the hard yar right out of the gates. I've just been very pepped up ever since they shut down all those Hooters. Now,
No way.
hard yar right out of the gates. I've just been very pepped up ever since they shut down all.
Hooters preparing to file bankruptcy after shuttering dozens of stores in 2024? What does shuttering mean? Or unless the independent doesn't know how to speak the English. I don't know what shuttering means. Does that mean closing? Is that just a word for closing that I just didn't know about? Hooters closed approximately 40 locations last year and owes $300 million in asset-backed bonds. Wow, I have no idea what that means, but that seems horrible to owe that much in backed bonds.
All those Hooters. Now where am I supposed to find me future wife? I still haven't replaced my go-to airline. Anyway.
Listen, when there's news about Hooters, people, you pay attention. Okay, I had to know.
After 84 long years, the Japanese have returned to Hawaii.
My main question, though, is why the decline in the Hooters? I'm not talking about the establishment. I'm just talking about in the, you know? Over the years, they just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. To the point where I think now you're at the point where you probably just should change the name. Just call it Hoot. Come to Hoot, have a hootin' time, I suppose.
This time, bearing gifts. A gift that combines two of the greatest things there are. Pirates and Yakuza. Yakuza games are like if cocaine did LSD, then smoked a bowl.
Japan before and after the nukes right here.
And Hawaiians are like high-level Florida men.
Fuck. God damn you. Let me get a picture of that license plate, buddy. I'm sending that to my lawyer, you fuck.
In Pirate Yakuza, all it takes is minutes to go from some poor lady mourning the loss of her entire family to a 60-year-old man blasting the Angry Birds theme while he drifts in his pirate ship, shooting his laser-powered purple cannon at a ship full of clowns, then topping it off by strafing their poop deck with a fully automatic, non-lethal flintlock. That sentence only even exists in a Yakuza game, and that's the abbreviated version. Every time I think these games can't get any wilder, they add an entire mini-game that's basically Duck Hunt. If instead of reacting to ducks flying out of the trees, you're reacting to old-up guys jumping out from behind a dumpster. There is not a single franchise that has as much fun as Yakuza does, and when I get a spare lifetime...
Is it just Yakuza? I don't know. I'm still trying to understand the title.
I plan on finishing every single one of these games that sit permanently on my hard drive waiting to give me joy. But one of the things I find most interesting about Yakuza is that it shows how simple fun can be, therefore accentuating how incompetent you have to be to make something that isn't fun. Like, let's say, for example, I don't know, you throw the GDP of Bosnia on making a pirate game, and then you don't even put any shipboarding in it. Or how...
Okay, so we're here. That was just a long intro leading up to... Okay. Okay, so I thought that was just exaggeration. You know how like sometimes people like to exaggerate a title or something like that, but no. And I know it's not exactly a billion, but literally, what is the fucking difference between a billion and 850 million? I'll tell you, it's 150 million. But when you're dealing with that much money, is 150 million really that much more than 850? No, man. If you're already spending $800, wouldn't you be inclined to go ahead and just spend an even 1,000, right? If you got a little bit more. Why does it cost that much, bro? It didn't even cost a fraction of that for Sea of Thieves, and I thought Sea of Thieves, for what it was fun for the time that I spent playing it. What about this? Cost 800. Is it the water? Because from what I've heard from game developers, making water is apparently really, really hard. Oh, shit.
The GDP of Bosnia on making a pirate game, and then you don't even put any shipboarding in it. Or how about you're making a new addition to your franchise all about jumping and stealth, then you make an entire character that cannot fucking jump or be stealthy. Or you pilfer the Singaporean...
Ubisoft is still making Skull and Bones because a deal with the Singapore government won't let it die. So like who owns Ubisoft? Apparently either nobody or Singapore, I guess.
Government's booty and only have this mini game to show for it. Pirate Yakuza was made in a cave with a box of scrap. It's built like a hot dog. It's just the assholes and elbows of all the other Yakuza games made probably about a goddamn year, and yet
It really reminds me of Tony Stark built this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. Well, I'm not Tony Stark, so it's just like we're not Yakuza. Sorry.
their weakest minigame is fucking golf. That's right, an entire goddamn sport. A sport that I lost an entire evening to, by the way. Listen, we'll get back to the UB slop in a second. I'm like the John Daly of putt-putt. That's right, I'm severely overweight and I have a gambling problem. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? The trick to sticking your balls in that hole is a gentle touch. I'm telling you, it's way harder to lose this game than it is to win it.
So there's mini games inside the game? Nice. It's all about being a gangster, and it's just unhinged. I could fucks with that. I really could. Dude, over-the-top ridiculous games like that, man. I played a game once upon a time called Bulletstorm. I don't know if y'all remember that game.
Mountains of flavor.
God damn, that game was so much fun. Games like Prototype were just like out of this world sci-fi, just insanity, right? But that game was so much fun. That game killed. That game came out back when single player games were popping, man. Not to say that they're not popping right now, but single player games back then, oh.
Wow! Sunk it! Or the trick could be aiming your balls towards the audience and then cranking it as hard as you possibly can. Wow! Or the trick could be aiming on top of the hole, then cranking the ball in the opposite direction of the wind. Wow! Or the trick could just be not cranking the ball at all. Listen, the point is, the trick can be whatever you want it to be as long as you have a copy of Premiere Pro. But for now, let's circle back to Ubisoft. I mean, if we're already talking about the minigames, let's just talk about them, right? I thought I wouldn't enjoy playing bingo until I was old and couldn't get hard anymore, but as it turns out, you don't have to be old. Bingo's actually kind of the bee's knees, pimps. And even better news, we can beat it using the same trick that we just used on regular golf. Can't get your platform to work with you? Brother, it happens to the best of us. The trick here is taking $50 and heading on down to a...
Do y'all remember a game from a long time ago? I was just but a kid when I played this game. And I think I may have played it on the Sega Dreamcast, but it was called Shenmue or something. Shenmue. Shenmue. And for the life of me, I couldn't fucking figure it out. I didn't even know what kind of genre of game it was. All I knew is that I was just walking around lost in this fucking Japanese-looking city as a Japanese character dealing with Japanese people. And I don't know, I was just so fucking lost, bro. I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, this game sucks. But it kind of reminded me, the style and everything reminded me of some of these Yakuza games. I just could not figure it out, bro. I was like 9, 10 years old or something. And I was like, fuck this game! And I went back to like Dead to Rights or something. I couldn't figure it out. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is beyond me. So, yeah.
A whorehouse in Chihuahua. See, what did I tell you? History is written by...
You had me at whorehouse in Chihuahua.
by the autist with pirated Adobe software. You never forget that. Minigames in Pirate Yakuza range from being hit by a Honda while delivering someone's Little Caesars to bros being guys doing man things in a heterosexual manner. But if you're in the Middle East, that minigame probably didn't make it out to you guys, so instead check out Explosive Baseball Tetris. And this one, you smack balls and wait to see which one blows up the entire building.
This is actually way easier than fucking the rest of their baseball. Oopsie.
Wow! Sunk it! Hang on a second, it's just dawned upon me that we haven't actually even reviewed the game yet in this review. Hey, you know what? If we made it this far, why start now? This next minigame... This is some shit the CIA probably used to torture Iraqis, Marty. The type of minigame that fundamentally breaks a man and has him coming out of the other end knowing every line in the Bible, Marty. Has him shitting outside and watching The Price is Right at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, Marty. Has him eating well-done steaks and jerking off to softcore, Marty. This ain't the type of rock-bottom men come back from, Marty. Come on, you little green bastard. You better get in that goddamn hole. You better stay up, you little piece of shit. You...
I hate those.
Wow! Sunk it! Now, I will say this. A disturbing trend I've noticed with recent Yakuza entries is that they never give us action players any of those.
I've never played a Yakuza game, but if there's a fire one on console that's free or like extremely cheap, I may give it a try. It's your boy, bro.
Advanced business building minigames that the
gaming is just expensive.
turn-based players get. What do you guys think? We're stupid or something? You think we're some kind of fools, you bastards? I'm the goddamn master of minigames. I conquered the one-shot challenge so hard they had me redo the same level over and over so they could marvel at my greatness. And you think I'm too stupid to run a jiggle joint? The audacity. You know, you're the fool, so that's what I think. Bitch. Speaking of ass, that takes us back around to Ubisoft, but I just gotta tell you about the Coliseum minigame first. Can I tell you about the Coliseum minigame? I've been waiting to tell you about the Coliseum minigame all day. A lot of people think the Coliseum is just some kind of condensed way to enjoy all the pirate parts of the game, but what we're actually trying to figure out here is what mental illness is the strongest.
Dude, that's actually fire, man. You can go around with your pirate ships, you can get on, you can board, you can fuck shit up, or maybe they board you and you defend your ship. That's actually dope.
In battle. This is like Deadliest Warrior.
But take me back to what Skull and Bones had to offer, which I guess was essentially fucking nothing. I just want to see how bad it was. Right? Just like, show me the turd.
If instead of Spartans versus ninjas, it was sociopaths versus chronic depression, or bipolars versus anime. Yes, Kate, is that you under there, big man? The key to surviving the Coliseum, though, is constant drifting. Enemy shooting at you? Drift. You need to shoot at the enemy? Drift. Child support payments? Drift. Everything in life can be fixed with just a little bit of drifting, and also the best crew that you can possibly get your hands on. Your crew is going to be who boards with you, fights with you, and ideally the better their rank is, the higher their level will be, and the more, you know what, blah, 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 that's all nerd shit. The most important...
That looks so much more fun than Sea of Thieves, because Sea of Thieves, to me, it just felt clunky as fuck, and you had one sword, a blunderbuss that loaded at the speed of smell, a sniper rifle that the zoom was just terrible, and on top of that, the sway was insane because you're on a ship that's on the waves and shit, and it was just not conducive to...
thing about your crew is collecting all the buxom broads you can get. Am I right or am I right? Here's a few ways you can do that. First, you can demonstrate your value to the chick that runs the dart throwing game.
Oh!
Am I wooing you with my prowess?
Oh, Fleek.
Are your loins tingling? Are your loins tingling? Join my crew, please. Oh. Second, you can do the Love Broker side quest, where you assemble a harem for your good buddy, then quintuply cuck him at the end. Or there's my favorite, handing $5,000 to a...
Damn, that's fucked up, but... I mean, hey.
Busty ninja that works at Taco Bell. How does that get her to join our crew? Well, it's the implication. Now, if you're wondering how you get all the dudes...
Gary Day.
I wouldn't know, brother. I'm going for a Gaddafi's Guard 2.0 look here. And I gotta say, I don't regret it. This ship's running like a well-oiled machine.
Wix. One platform. Any website.
That dude, the pirate gameplay mechanics look so much fun. Actually. I would play this.
It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. Listen, these beefcakes are all gold ranked. Those winches were all silver and bronze. They weren't qualified for the job. The double DEI hires had half my crew under level. If that was a well-oiled machine, it'd be the Delta flight that landed upside down. You know, and in the end of the day, it's not that they didn't do their job. It's just that an oiled up
Yo, was that the flight that was just like, I think it was like all chicks? I can't remember.
guy could have done it better. Don't believe me? Well, how about we bet on it? Listen, we'll get back to Ubisoft in a second. Let's bet on it. Because if there's one thing I love more than busting ninjas, it's gambling, baby. My therapist came up to me the other day and told me I have a gambling problem. You know what I told him? You want to bet on it? But I don't fuck with all these Japanese card games, because those make my brain go all mushy like. I tried playing one hand of that Oicho Cabo shit, and here's how that went down. What the fuck is going on? What the hell is happening? Oh, why are there so many cards? Why did they make me the dealer? How did 3 of them just win? Oh.
Minigames like that I've never been a fan of either.
Oh, all our money is gone. No, Amber, don't leave. What do you mean our marriage is over? Wow, sunk it. And that's why I stick to American card games, specifically poker. No disrespect to Jack Black, but that's just where I test my luck for the night. See if the gods blessed my landlord with his rent money this month. But as soon as I want to make some real fucking money, it's all about high stakes poker. And I'll tell you how I do it. The first rule of poker is that I always gamble with the house's money, never with my own. And of course, by the house's money, I mean my wife's savings account. Next, open up the official poker rulebook. Good job. Now fold it shut and remember this moment, because that'll be the last time you ever fold again. You don't need to read the rules. Reading is for pussies that don't have a Netflix subscription. The only rule you need to know is raise no matter what. Calling? Come on. I only call my loan shark when I run out of my queen's money. Drizzle, drizzle. 9 times out of 10, bluffing is all you need to beat your opponents, and all bluffing is betting on a lie. And lying to others is easy if you first master lying to yourself. Are you following me here? What I'm saying is this: knowing the rules is just gonna make lying harder. But if you don't know the rules, you'll think every
So you can wager against other players? Or are you just wagering against like an AI system that wagers back?
hand you have is a winning hand. Take this hand, for example. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here. So I raise, then I raise, then I raise, then I raise again. The only thing I don't raise is my kids. Boom, I win 50,000 chips. Everyone's in shock. My dick's so hard, it's tipping the table. As for what happens that other 1 time out of 10 where someone doesn't fall for the bluff because he has a full house or a straight or a 1 pair or something, well, that's where we lose everything and kidnap that man in the parking lot later tonight. That's right, I nab his ass and I start a hostage negotiation with the police. When they tell me, if you do anything stupid, our snipers will riddle you with 100 bullets, I raise. I say make it 110 bullets. They don't know who they're talking to. They fold. They go home. They leave me with the hostages. They're too scared of that expert.
I mean, dude, it's too easy to, I guess, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to raise and bluff on someone online than it is like face to face at an actual table. I don't play much poker, man. But I have watched a little bit of it, you know, here and there. Right? I feel like it's much easier to bluff someone online, right? Behind a computer screen or something, as opposed to who they're sitting right across from you and they can see you and or smell you. I don't know.
Gambler like me. Anyways, just don't overthink this shit. The story of this game, funnily enough, starts the same way that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does. Majima hits his head, forgets his entire past, but where the 2 games separate their paths is that after you hit your head in Kingdom Come, you go,
chicks? No, I'm into dudes.
Whereas in Pirate Yakuza, Majima decides to become a pirate. Now, if you can believe it, I actually hit my head pretty hard after finishing this game, therefore, I also don't remember a goddamn thing about this story. So instead, how about this? Whip your cock out. Come on, don't be shy. Let's go head to head. Cock to cock. And buddy, when this night ends, you're gonna give me all the cash in your wallet with a big smile on your face knowing I just fucked you real good. On the racetrack. The cock racing racetrack. While all you fools have been...
So this man hits his head. He hits his head and then comes to and decides he wants to be a pirate. That's crazy. That's one crazy concussion, man. Really. Because I've gotten knocked out before, and when I came to, I didn't know who the fuck I was. I didn't even know my name. I didn't know what country I was in, right? Didn't occur to me to become a pirate, but I mean, hey, head injuries are different for everybody, I guess.
playing Avowed, Saints Row, and Suicide Squad. I've been honing in my cock racing skills for the last 3 years. You see that? I'm rich. You see that? I just lost everything. But that's okay, because now I'm gonna go find a champion cock. One that dwarfs all these little micro cocks, and he's gonna win me every single race in this godforsaken game, or he's gonna make one hell of a bucket combo. Listen, I gotta go. I've already installed all my monstrous memory mods. Remember,
Gemma, oh my
I'm
God.
always 2 cups ahead.
Jesus.
Y'all get ready, man. Next week is about to be crazy. Oh,
Yo.
man. Wait till y'all see what happens next week, man. Oh.
What character? That's Monster Hunter. What? I gotta switch to a chick character, bro. I gotta change that, and I gotta make something fucking skimpy with like some huge ass titties like that. Hold on, what This is Monster Hunter, and this is a gesture. What gesture is this?
I'm always 2 cups ahead.
That's
Y'all get ready, man. Next week is about to be crazy.
Oh, that's the attack gesture. There's a decoration or something, or like a piece of armor that if you use this gesture, you get an attack boost. Yeah, my dude looks like Iron Man. I'm about to do some wild shit in Monster Hunter. All right. You don't know if it's multiplayer? It's not? No, there's no that's terrible if it isn't. It's gotta be. How? We're gay. Yo, we never watched that video by Bad Electrician, America's Worst Tank, by the way. We did watch that Taco Bell video. Oh, dude, this is hilarious. Snow White premiere canceled due to Rachel Zegler backlash. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but the Snow White premiere is canceled. I don't know if the reasoning is true, but that's funny, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? Okay. What? The dragon game is like a turn-based RPG. Like a RTS. I really like RTS games, but I don't have much time. Oh, the previous game. Okay. Gotcha. All right, let's y'all haven't put anything else in the let me look. Oh yeah, Smitty. Yeah. I'm gonna make this big screen little face cam for you guys. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm getting tunnel vision. My bad. What were we doing? Yeah, Smitty. Part 1? I mean, haven't we done part 1? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what we've done. So maybe we haven't seen it. I know we've seen more than a handful of these. I can't remember. I just assumed that part 1 is something we would have done already. I don't know. I feel like we've seen this already. Noelani. I feel like we've seen a lot of these. I recognize this thumbnail. If you wanna request something else, by all means, but I feel like I've seen, because there was someone that used to request these a lot, and I thought that this was gonna be something different. But these with this thumbnail, I think he made like what 5 or 6, maybe 7 parts to this, and I think I've seen all of them. Long time ago. I vividly remember this thumbnail right here, like this series. Yeah, we did this back when on the old YouTube. Actually, that's how long ago that was. All right, or no, we may have done these like 2 years ago, but either way, we did do these. All right. Let's see what I have here. I might run some. Let's see. Okay, we got 2 videos here that I'm interested in by Mr. Electrician. 15 largest and insane military vehicles. I kind of want to watch that just to see, because that's not going to be just American vehicles. That's going to be all around, I feel. We've done all these. The only thing we haven't done is America's Raisin Cartel. 15 largest and insane military vehicles. America's worst tank. And Kathleen Kennedy refuses to quit ruining Star Wars. We don't have to watch this. That's just something that I saw that I was just going to end up watching myself on my own time. And it's just someone requested a video by It's a Gundam the other day, and I used to watch him a lot back in the day. Not even back in the day. I've watched a lot of his videos before. I was either going to watch that on my own time, but if y'all want to watch that, we can. Just to see what's going on with Star Wars. It's fun to keep up with Star Wars, bro, because will it ever be on the right track? Will it ever be good? Will it ever be at a place where the fans are like, you know what? I'm very happy with with the current state of Star Wars. Is that ever going to be a thing? Yeah, probably not. I don't know. It's hard to tell. In a world where people just like to complain about nothing and everything, it's hard to tell what's a genuine gripe and what's just motherfuckers looking for attention on the internet. You know what I mean? Or just looking for attention with a shit review or something like that. It's hard to tell these days. Everything kind of just like blurs together, right? So anyways, dude, my favorite racing game of all time. There's 3 of them, bro. 3. I can't decide. I can't give you a favorite racing game of all time. I have to give you a top 3. It's impossible. Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed, and this is not in order. Need for Speed Underground, Need for Speed Carbon, and Gran Turismo 4. It's like some of my all-time favorite racing games. Ever. And that's not in any particular order of like best to worst or worst to best or favorite. It's just those 3. I can't give you a top 1, man. Those are like just. And funny enough, I didn't really play much racing games after the fact. That was like I was huge into racing games as a kid. As you can see, those games are old that I just told you about. So, alright, I kind of want to do this top 5s, 15 largest insane military vehicles, and then we'll move on. Have I played System Shock? No. You know what? Actually, we'll go with tank stuff. Because y'all didn't really say. I guess maybe y'all don't care. I also like turn-based
When you
games.
travel for business.
I also like turn-based games like Command and Conquer, Katai, And I really like dude, I love Sid Meier's Civilization. I've been playing that game on and off for years. Whether it be on console, whether it be on my computer, whether it be like with the mobile game on my phone or tablet, I've been playing that game on and off for years. Sid Meier's Civ. Doesn't matter. Civ 1 to whatever's current really with Civilization. I like those games. Grew up with my dad. Had a hot rod restoration shop, so I came up in the car world. I came up in the sports world. I had a completely different come up than you. Completely different come up than you. My come up was you're gonna play baseball, you're gonna like it, and if you don't like it, I don't fucking care. Shut the fuck up, get out there on the field, and if you don't do good, you're fucking grounded. There you go. And that was it. Sports. And they would never remind, well, they would, but they harped more on the sports than they did on the school. And then when
you never know where.
And then when I would fail a class, all of a sudden I'm a dumbass. Well, I'm just like, well, you know what? You've had me on the baseball field for, I don't know, 19 out of the 24 hours in today's fucking day. So when did I have time to do homework again? Fucking wench. That was my childhood. That was my grow up. Working on cars seems hella good compared to fuck I had going on. Maybe I'm just being dramatic, but I don't know. I hated that shit. And you know how annoying? Maybe I don't know, because y'all didn't play sports, but I didn't really have a choice. You want to know why? Because I was good at it. You know how much it sucks for your parents to push you into something that you don't want to do, but it turns out you're good at it, so you really don't have a choice? Right? It's one thing if I fucking sucked dick and just like couldn't do anything and I was just like completely useless. My parents would have been like, "Oh, well, maybe the next kid will be good at sports." But no, I was actually good. And you know, parents have that thing like, "I'm not going to let your talent go to waste" type shit, right? So it was just like every day. Baseball. And I was like, why does this feel like work? I was like, that's because I don't want to be here. That's why. What would I have done had I not played baseball? I don't know. What y'all did in high school? Nothing. Man, go home, learn some shit, come back, hang out with friends. Isn't that what y'all did? I wish that's what I could have done. And I ended up not going pro, so what the fuck was the... I'm sorry. I'm ranting. We're gonna go. Chad, what's good?
Definitely one of the tanks of all time. Today we're talking about the M247 Sergeant York. For all intents and purposes, it is a futuristic anti-aircraft tank. Buh! You're so dumb, it's not a tank, it's a SPAG, a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun.
Dude. Semantics. Whatever. Look at it.
Buh. Yeah, no, I'm aware. I just call it that because it's an armored vehicle with tracks and a big gun, which to 99.9% of people on the planet, it's a tank. Plus, I refuse to call it a SPAG because it sounds like a slur, okay? And if you don't believe me, if a tanker drives a tank, what is somebody that drives a SPAG called? Now go call somebody that in public and see if you get slapped, all right? Just make...
I don't know if you'll get slapped, but like, you call someone a SPAG, I'm pretty sure they'll hit you with the fuck you say to me? Because they're not sure if it's an insult, a slur, or a compliment, right? They're still trying to figure it out. Because I mean, if we're not talking about anything military related, then what the fuck could that be? You fucking SPAG. That does sound bad, doesn't it? Oof. I don't even know who that would. I don't even know who you could call that. And it would be offensive, right? A SPAG. Let's just go down the line. Race by race, religion by religion, color by color. SPAG? No? He's not mad about it. Spag. No? No? Spag. Oh, there's the one. That's the one. He got mad. He doesn't like it. He knows. I don't know what it means outside of whatever that was. And I didn't even know what it meant. I just call this bitch a tank, bro. Really.
Make it easy for everybody, call it a tank. Anyways, the Sergeant York is an anti-aircraft tank equipped with two 40mm Bofors capable of firing 240 rounds per minute. It's capable of firing a variety of different rounds, including a proximity fuse version, which we covered a couple of weeks ago. And if you watched that video, you would know that 240 proximity fuse rounds coming at you would be a pretty formidable opponent for any airborne adversary. But it gets better because the Sergeant York is going to be equipped with a state-of-the-art radar system capable of tracking up to 48 different targets at any given moment, then automatically prioritizing which target is the biggest threat, and then it was going to send the signals to the turret to auto track and lock onto that target and all.
That's interesting. Maybe if a squadron is flying over, and that's actually amazing, to be honest, because hold on.
Different targets at any given moment, then automatically prioritizing which target is the biggest threat, and then it was going to send the signals to
which target is the biggest threat. That's both good and bad. Why is it bad? Because let's say that there is an aircraft that has no offensive capability but is being escorted, and what's in this plane that's being escorted is highly important, right? The materials, fuel, water, just any resources can help any military, right? So in that moment, can this thing differentiate between I should probably shoot that cargo ship instead of shooting the fighters next to it, because I can deal a more massive blow by taking out a cargo ship or a cargo plane than taking out one fighter jet or 5 fighter jets. They can replace those fighter jets, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to replace whatever the fuck is in that cargo plane, right? So will it differentiate? Because it says the biggest threat, but in some situations, you don't need to take out the threat. Sometimes the strategic value of a target outweighs taking out the biggest threat on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Right? So I wonder if it even differentiates, or if it even... But then again, I guess maybe you can disable the automatic targeting system and fire this bitch manually from inside. I don't know. Let's...
the turret to auto track and lock onto that target, and all the gunner has to do is pull the trigger. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that America tried to create an anti-aircraft tank that was running on an aimbot. Okay, the key word here being trying, because that's not quite exactly what happened, but we're going to get into that right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Conflict of Nations, a free online PvP military-based strategy game. It is a World War III type scenario where you can pick your favorite country, or you can pick a state inside of the United States, because let's face it, that's the only way it's going to be jets and nuclear submarines, and turn my sights to Nebraska and prove once and for all that our corn is better. And I know what you're thinking. All right, so in order to understand the Sergeant York, we've got to have a little bit of the history of air defense as a whole. So once upon a time, airplanes were invented. They were then used in warfare. Everybody kind of looked up at the sky and went, huh, that's new. Yeah. But luckily, new problems usually require the same old answers.
Hey, shoot that guy.
Now we're talking like World War I, right? Warfare at this point in time, not that sophisticated. As far as weapons go, you've pretty much got guns and then bigger guns, right? Yeah. There's no drones, there's no Hellfire missiles, none of that shit.
No
so people just started shooting at it with whatever they had, everything from machine guns to 90mm artillery. And for America, one of the most effective weapons against planes proved to be none other than the Browning M250 caliber machine gun, created by none other than America's patron saint of hole punching, John Moses Browning. Now, does that seem a little crude by today's standard, where we have specialized missiles and ammunition that know where the plane's at and blow up and track down the aircraft and blow it out of the sky? Absolutely, but it's perfect because it follows the KISS principle, right? What's the problem? Fast-moving planes are hard to hit. Cool, let's just shoot at it a lot.
That Browning 50 still has so much practical use today. And yeah, today that, I mean, at least not by hand, but that thing still has its uses. Is it not being, you know,
with a machine gun will hit it eventually, its accuracy by volume. So World War II rolls around, planes get even faster. What do? We just shoot at it even more. You know what shoots more bullets than a single Browning M250 caliber machine gun? 4 Browning 50 caliber machine guns operating off of one trigger inside of the M45 quad mount. Okay, this thing was like Frank's Red Hot, all right? We put that shit on everything. We were putting it on trucks, on armored personnel carriers. We had trailers that we'd pull behind the Jeeps. It was everywhere. And the cool part about this, other than the fact that it's 4 50 caliber machine guns, is
I would die a happy man right there and then if I ever got to shoot that thing. 4 50s at the same time.
while it may not be the best thing around for shooting a plane out of the air for that very narrow application, it was a really good option for pretty much any problem that you could run into on the battlefield, right? You've got 4 50 caliber machine guns pointed up at the sky looking for enemy planes. There's no enemy planes, but there's a bunch of enemy soldiers over there. Oh, there were a bunch of enemy soldiers over there. And that's why the M45 quad mount stood the test of time, because we were still slapping this thing on the back of trucks during Vietnam. We weren't really shooting down a lot of planes with it, but you know what? Every time the trees started speaking, John Moses Browning had something to say back.
Did you chop down this tree?
No. Seeing how effective this was, the American government was like, you know, it'd be cooler than 450 calibers on the back of a truck if we took even bigger machine guns and stuck them on top of a fucking tank. So they took an M24 Chaffee tank, took the turret.
The fucking 50 cal reigned supreme during my time too, man. And the only thing that could stand up to it that the enemy had, and they didn't have a lot of these, at least I didn't see a lot of, I got shot at by one, but just the one time. These weren't an everyday occurrence. The only thing they had that was even comparable was I think this thing is a 60 caliber or a 70 caliber, called the Dishka. Is huge, and it rivals the 50 caliber, the M2 Browning, right? But the M2 Browning, the thing pretty much reigned supreme, man. During both of my deployments, during the entirety of our time that we spent, granted, I doubt that from my vehicle, if they tasked me with trying to shoot down planes, I'm not laying a fucking bullet on a jet. I'm just not. In these times where planes were very much slower and didn't go Mach 2, then yeah, sure, you had some, maybe. And even with that rig, maybe. But even with that rig, can that rig with the 450s take out a modern day F-35 today? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't.
It off, slapped 2 40mm Bofors on it, and created the infamous M42 Duster. And they used it for pretty much the same thing, mobile deforestation. They would roll up with an M42 Duster, and they had a gigantic spotlight, and whenever they heard something, they would just blast the giant spotlight out into the woods and just mow everything down so the enemy was blinded by the light. Now, if you were hunting deer, would spotlighting like that be illegal? Depending on where you live, more than likely. However, we're not hunting deer, this is war, and as you all know, it's never a war crime the first time. So the M42 Duster becomes absolutely legendary among the men that use it in Vietnam. Time passes, we need to keep improving. Unfortunately, missile technology still not doing that great, so the best option we have is still accuracy by volume. How do we keep improving upon what we've already done? Let's get an even bigger gun. So they created one of my favorite vehicles of all time, the Vigilante. They took an M113 armored personnel carrier and slapped the biggest Gatling gun ever made on top of it. Now, does that make it better? No, it doesn't, but it does make it way more scary. Could you imagine being held up in a building and you're like, oh, the Americans are here, and then they pull up with that monstrosity and a guy flips a switch and all those barrels start spinning right before that thing starts pissing 3,037mm rounds per minute at your building? Buh! Yeah. Sounds like just a bunch of wasted ammunition to me. Buh! Yeah, and this is America. We don't run out of bullets. We run out of bad guys, homie. You have 2 options in life, really. You can A,
or you have to replace the barrel. One of those 3.
Run out of ammunition, or B, be $20 trillion in debt. Go ahead and ask the Americans which one they picked.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Then the US government came to the conclusion that missiles were going to be the way of the future, so they retired the Vigilante and replaced it with the Mauler, which was going to be an armored person.
You know, I will say,
be $20 trillion in
people that say that sounds like a waste of bullets, sounds like a waste of money. Sounds like you would come in, I don't know, 47th place in a real life battle royale. Think about it, homie. The people from the countries that say shit like that. Why do you need all these guns? Why do you need so much in defense? Well, if a battle royale ever kicks off, let's see how much your pride in not having defense gets you. You'll come in 67th place, man. Really. Let's be for real, okay? Keep talking shit from the bottom of the leaderboard.
Debt. Go ahead and ask the Americans which one they picked.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Then the US government came to the conclusion that missiles were going to be the way of the future, so they retired the Vigilante and replaced it with the Mauler, which was going to be an armored personnel carrier that carried a missile launcher that would fire anti-aircraft missiles. And to be honest with you, it kind of sucked for multiple reasons. One, missile technology still not that good at the time, so it wasn't very good at its job at shooting down enemy aircrafts. And then on top of it, it's a bunch of anti-aircraft missiles. It's not a giant machine gun that you can just aim at literally anything that's upsetting you. So the US government realizes, well, this isn't working. They look around and they're like, well, what do we have that is working? And the only thing that's kind of working is the M42 Duster, still putting in work until 1988. So they say, all right, accuracy by volume it is. They take the M42 Duster and the Vigilante, they kind of merge them together, and they create the VADS, the Vulcan Air Defense System, my favorite anti-aircraft weapon of all time.
Yes, Cat, that one does come in black, I think. Or is that like a dark green?
They took the same M113 personnel carrier and then slapped a 20mm Vulcan rotary cannon on top, capable of firing 6,000 rounds per minute. And again, it works kind of okay on enemy aircraft and even better on enemy everything else. Do I have any examples of this? Why, yes, I do. In 1989, during Operation Just Cause, when the United States military went into Panama to remove the dictator Manuel Noriega, a bunch of his men were held up inside of a headquarters building, surrounded, to which the American forces told them, hey, you should probably go ahead and surrender, to which they were like, nah. To which the American commander said, all right, get the Vulcan up here. Go ahead and fire a warning shot at the front door.
Fire a warning shot.
Gunny, but it's an M224 60mm mortar.
I don't give a shit. Fire the fucking warning shot.
And here's what the building looked like after the warning.
Yeah. Do you guys know why we dropped 2 atomic bombs? The first one was a warning. Imagine. Holy shit. Yeah. What is it again? Proportional. We're so proportional. It's great. And then everyone wants to cry. America's so heavy-handed. But you were literally fucking with us though. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't fuck with somebody and then control the outcome of you fucking around and finding out, you know? That's not the way that works. Whatever. They hate us because they ain't us, you know what I mean?
Mortar. I don't give a shit. Fire the fucking warning shot.
And here's what the building looked like after the warning shot, at which point all of the men inside were like, you know what, on second thought, actually, we will go ahead and surrender. The end. At this point, the problem now is that attack helicopters are a thing, like the Soviet Union has the Mi-24 Hind, and there's a new tactic that's been developed called pop-up. Basically, an attack helicopter would fly nape of the earth, very close to the ground, hiding behind trees and other terrain features until it got close enough to your troops, and then it would just pop up, and it would fire a missile.
Isn't that the tactic that one helicopter used on Maverick and Goose Jr.? In the movie Maverick? Remember when they're behind enemy lines? It's both of them. I can't remember the name of the younger guy, Miles Teller's character. Anyways, they're behind enemy lines, and I swear to God, that's what the helicopter does. It's like low on the tree line, and then out of nowhere, hello, and they're like, oh shit, and they take off running. That's the exact fucking tactic that helicopter used in the movie Top Gun. That's, yeah.
Basically, an attack helicopter would fly nape of the earth, very close to the ground, hiding behind trees and other terrain features until it got close enough to your troops, and then it would just pop up, and it would fire a
very trolly, but very scary.
Missile, pop back down, and dip. By the time you realized you were getting shot at, the enemy was already gone, meaning that this weapon system was basically useless against this tactic, so America had to come up with a new weapon to counter this. So again, they look around at what's working. We've got the VADS. The VADS is working pretty good. Why isn't it working here? Well, it can't target and aim at the helicopter fast enough to respond before the helicopter fires its missile and takes off. So what if we made an anti-aircraft tank with big machine guns that had some super smart radar that would be able to sense the helicopter coming from miles away and just track it, and then the second it popped up, it would shoot it down before it could shoot at us. Sounds like a good idea. Let's put together a bid packet and then let people design one and see what they come up with. So they put together the criteria of what they're looking for. They're looking for a new anti-aircraft tank that's capable of keeping up with the M1 Abrams so it can protect them, and it needs to be able to use its radar systems to track up to 48 different targets at any given time, automatically prioritizing the most important target.
Enter the M247 Sergeant York. Why did they give it such a long-ass name?
And auto-tracking that
We're gonna find out.
target. And then when it does fire, it needs to have a...
I'm assuming Sergeant York was the person that was inside of the very first one of these, or maybe that just the name got dedicated because of maybe his actions in combat. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Up to a 50% hit rate.
Rooster, yeah, not Goose. The fuck am I talking? whatever the younger character in Top Gun was. You got Maverick, which is Tom Cruise's character, and then you got the young kid that's the son of his best friend, right? Yeah.
From up to 2 miles away. Now, that sounds pretty cool, but it is a pretty big undertaking. Like, that's a big ask for the technology at the time. Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, what I'm trying to tell you is they basically have 2 different strategies for air defense at the time. Okay, we have the keep it simple, stupid method. Okay, let's get a big machine gun and shoot a lot of bullets till we hit the target. Okay, and it's really convenient because not only is it good for shooting down planes, machine guns work on pretty much everything, so it's a very versatile weapon. And then we have the cutting edge technology option, you know, things like missiles. Historically, they haven't worked that great up until this point because, well, missile technology just isn't that good. But the technology's gonna get...
God, you know, now that I'm thinking of it, it would have sucked to have had to shoot a very agile helicopter from a turret in a truck. Think about it. I'm looking at it from the opposite perspective, facing one of these helicopters. Right now, he's explaining it from my perspective, the people that are in the helicopter, right? I'm looking at it from the other side. And even in my vehicle, with the turret that I had, an agile helicopter, it's just like, because, you know, you can only orientate, like from a turret, you can only orientate your weapon so much. And then you have to take one hand off your weapon, and you need to grab that joystick for the turret, and you need to turn the turret. So if this helicopter is just fucking with you, it's gonna be hard for you to really do much. Maybe you get a couple shots. Maybe you get a couple shots in. Shooting that 50 with one hand while you move the turret, that's a fucking no-go. You'll miss every round, right? So you'd basically have to move the turret, shoot for a little bit, move the turret, shoot for a little bit. That's rough. That is like hella rough, dealing with having to shoot down. So yeah, something that does it automatically and can track it on its own, that's the fucking move. Because yeah, I'm putting myself in the shoes of just like doing this manually, trying to shoot one of these helicopters down manually with just like, and maybe you have a Crow system or a version of a Crow system back then, right? Maybe you have something that the gunner can just like, you know, with a joystick or something. But even then, if the machinery can't keep up because of the quickness of some of these aircrafts, then it doesn't matter what it's doing. Anyway, sorry.
Better eventually, right? But even then, the problem still remains that you now have a big weapon system with a very, very specific, narrow skill set that it needs to be used in, right? If you have a fucking tank that shoots anti-aircraft missiles and you're in a firefight with 300 guys on the ground, it's not really that helpful. So what if we merge the...
Where the pilot looks is where the gun is aiming of the helicopter? Oh, well, we're... Okay, all right.
Two together. What if we took the desired accuracy of a missile and then applied it to a couple of giant machine guns? Basically, what if we stuck an aimbot inside of the M42 Duster? It would be the perfect weapon. So they have the perfect plan. They have the perfect vision. The only problem is this is a pretty big ask for the technology of the late 1970s, early 1980s. So obviously, we're just going to let the engineers with the military contractors do their thing and build the weapon the way we want it. No, absolutely not. The government steps in and is like, no, we need to cobble this thing together with a bunch of old shit that we've got laying around.
My offer is this. Nothing.
This new super advanced anti-aircraft tank needs to be made out of the hull of an old...
Well, it's good to know that, you know, nothing's really changed. The army wants the military wants something done that is just seemingly really, really difficult, impossible. And they're just like, And we're not going to do anything to help you either, by the way. So, good luck, and you better meet this deadline, or like,
patent tank from World War II. In addition to that, instead of developing a new radar specifically designed for this mission set, I want you to just take a radar out of an F-16, you know, the radar for a fighter jet that's used to operating in open airspace with no objects around it whatsoever. Yeah, I want you to take that radar, shove it in this thing that's sitting on the ground, surrounded by other solid objects to fuck with the radar and just make it work.
Could you guys imagine how much better our military technology would be if the military didn't do shit like this? Could you imagine how much better our equipment? Could you imagine how much better our armed forces would be in both air, ground, and water? Especially ground. Could you imagine if the military would stop doing that shit right there? And they still do this shit to this very day. This isn't just specific to the 1950s, 60s, whatever. They still do this shit to the very day. They will take the most amount of shortcuts. They will spend the least amount of effort for equipment and for gear and for any of that stuff. Unless it's for, I don't know, jets and shit like that. But and the boats. Everything else, it's just like, dog. And they always do that. Imagine if they said, you know what, instead of by the lowest bidder, let's actually get some good shit. Let's actually spend some money here. Let's actually do so. Nope. And even in the 1950s, they were fucking penny pinching and goddamn and just Imagine if, you know, when it came to military equipment, we didn't show up with we didn't show up with 2,000 fucking coupons and held up the line for 4 hours. That'd be great. Wouldn't it be great if we just showed up with the right amount of money that was needed for some good shit and just like, bam, we got it. No, instead, but I get it. If you have leftover parts, you have leftover parts, but I don't know. They still do this shit, bro, to this day, and it drives me nuts.
So 5 contractors get selected. Sperry, the same guys that made the Vigilante, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Ford Aerospace, and General Electric all get to work on making a prototype. In the meantime, we got to come up with a cool name, right? Okay, it's going to be this super badass state-of-the-art tank. It's going to be just like this expert marksman with an aimbot inside of it that's capable of shooting and auto-tracking anything. What should we name it after? I know the answer. Let's name it after Alvin York, aka Sergeant York, the World War I hero that was a renowned sharpshooter. Makes perfect sense. That's a great name from a great man. Now we just have
I think we may have watched a video on that guy now that I'm thinking about it.
To build a tank that lives up to that name and
or maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember.
To be honest with you, we're off to a horrible start. So blueprints for the prototypes get submitted. They pick the 2 best options. Those are from Ford Aerospace and General Dynamics. So they go ahead, they give Ford and General Dynamics $79 million each to build their prototype, and then they send them into testing to go head to head. In testing, they have the tanks out on the field. They have a bunch of drones fly by. The General Dynamics tank shoots down 19 drones, and the Ford tank shoots down 9. So naturally, they give General Dynamics the bid. I'm just kidding. They give it to Ford. Why the fuck would they do that? Well, apparently, they went ahead and decided that they liked the idea of having the 40 millimeter ammunition that Ford was using over the 35 millimeter ammunition that General Dynamics was using, even though the bid specified it could be any caliber between 30 and 40 millimeter.
Here's what I heard. Blah, 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 size, bigger. And bigger is better.
So Ford goes ahead and they get the bid with their tank that was literally less than half as effective as the General Dynamics version. So Ford then...
But at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. It's going to have aimbot, so...
goes, takes the money, builds 4 prototypes, and then starts manufacturing like 150 more of these things. The prototypes get put into testing, and they perform absolutely terrible. Now, the Sergeant York tank is supposed to be able to use its radar to lock onto enemies in 2 different ways. One, it can track motion, ideally the props on a helicopter spinning, and it'll lock onto that. And the backup is that it's got thermals, so it can lock onto heat signatures. Again, this is being powered by a radar that's out of an F-16, which was designed to operate in open airspace, so that radar is confused by trees and
and just being on the ground.
Things, and if the guns aim up, the gun barrels interfere with the radar as well, so it's pretty much confused about everything.
The tree is talking.
Tree? I am no tree.
If that wasn't bad enough, due to all the added weight from the 240mm Bofors and the radar and all the other equipment that's packed inside of this thing, it weighed way more than it was supposed to, meaning that it was too slow to keep up with the M1 Abrams, which was its entire point for existing. Eventually,
to protect it.
Some politicians start asking questions, which means journalists start asking questions, then they start writing articles, and then there's public outcry that the government's wasting money on this tank. So in 1984, the Secretary of Defense, Caspar Weinberger, steps in and he's like, you know what? We're going to figure out if this thing actually works with even more testing. And this testing is going to cost $54 million. Now it's...
Why? I don't understand. Because, I mean, I apply it to, like, you have the technology, right? Right? You built it. Why does it cost money to test? Surely you just need the ammunition. It just costs money to make it. I never understood that. A test costs that much money. When in all reality, what you're going to be doing is just putting ammunition in it and seeing if it works. That's the whole point of a test. If I wanted to see if this match could catch fire, do you know what I do? I just... Oh, look at that! For fucking free! I didn't have to stick $1 inside of a slot to make this happen. Why does it cost money? Maybe I'm confused, or I'm just missing something, or I don't understand the concept. Why does it cost money to just hit a button? It's a gun! It's a weapon! We're not dealing with high particle fusion! What? I don't understand. Now, if you're talking about the fact that it costs the ammunition costs money, does the ammunition cost that much money? I don't know. I don't know why it costs money to just fire something. Granted, the ammunition costs money. The gas probably costs money. To build it probably costs money. To maintain it probably costs money. The upkeep, fuel, oil, hydraulics, the whole nine. The radar, the technology, the computer stuff. Someone has to fix that if it breaks. I get it, but I don't know. Military's always doing the absolute most pro. How is it that the military can overspend but not spend anything at all? How is it that everything I had was made by the lowest bidder and was a piece of shit, yet the military overspends on the most absurd shit? And I've noticed it, bro. Over the years, there's these people that will sell shit to the military at like a 800% markup. And I look up the actual price on the internet, and it's so much lower than what the military paid for. And I'm just like, why are you letting these fucking civilian contractors take advantage of you, Uncle Sam? I just saw that very same thing that you just bought on the internet for $15,000, and you just bought $5 million worth of that. Bro, I see it all the time, man. I see some shit that Uncle Sam buys, and I look it up on the internet. It costs 15 grand. I look at what Uncle Sam paid for it, 3.7 million. And I'm just like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? How are y'all even doing this? How do y'all spend so much money, but you don't spend nothing at all? It doesn't even make it. It's almost impressive how y'all be doing this stuff. Y'all be spending the most, but not spending anything. I mean, we got dining facilities that can't even feed the troops. Like, bro, $7,000 for a hammer, $8,000 for a pen, $27K for a PT belt. I mean, bro, you can't make this shit up. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. You know, and I even felt it firsthand. I went to CIF. This guy was, this guy lost his assault pack. Or no, not his assault pack, his rucksack. Do you know how much his rucksack cost? You know how much the military was going to charge him for his rucksack? $300. $300, bruh. When you go to any military surplus store and you can get a fucking rucksack for like 80, 70, 60, something like that. Not even that much. And the military central issue facility was going to charge this man 800% more than what it was actually worth. Why? Someone make it make sense.
It's getting covered by the press. They've got the Sergeant York out there doing this expensive testing, and it's not able to shoot down a single drone that's moving like an actual combatant would move. So then they resort to just flying the drones low and slow in a straight fucking line, which is something an enemy aircraft would never do, and it still can't hit. But then it finally grazes one.
Oh. But I dicked it. It hit the back.
Oh.
You're still out.
You're still back.
Now, it doesn't shoot the drone down, but it did damage it. And according to protocol, the dude running the drone immediately hits the self-destruct button to blow it up. That way the drone didn't fly off and crash into something important, which is exactly what he was supposed to do. But all the journalists that were there interpreted that as the Army trying to rig the testing to make the Sergeant York look like it was effective. So now there's even more public outcry that we need to quit wasting money on this tank because the Army has invested billions upon billions of dollars in this thing and it simply doesn't work. So then they go out and they have the helicopter drone just hover, which is something that would never ever happen, but that's what they do. And the York still cannot shoot down the drone. So then they add a bunch of radar reflectors to make it even more obvious to the York's radar where this helicopter is and have it be completely stationary. One of the lead journalists on this story described this as the equivalent
That's terrible.
to, and I quote, testing a bloodhound's ability to track a man by covering him with beefsteaks and standing him still alone upright in the middle of a parking lot. And the Army is...
Yeah, if that bloodhound don't find that man, then that bloodhound has no reason to exist. He's probably going to get put down because he don't work good. Really. At least, if that was the whole main ass purpose for the dog, right? Obviously, people keep dogs as companions. So, if your bloodhound don't work that way, that's fine. He probably doesn't need to do that anyways, but I understand.
He's like, no, it works. It works and it's awesome. You know what we're going to do? Let's go. We're going to have a bunch of British officers and Australian high-ranking officers and Congress people that doubt us and bring them out to the field, and we're going to put on a demonstration and show them how awesome this thing is. And you know what? While we're at it, you know who else would love to see how effective this tank is? Alvin York's widow, who is 82 years old. We should bring her out here with Congress and show off the awesome tank that we named after her husband. So that's what they do. They go out to the training field. They get a nice set of aluminum bleachers, you know, the ones that burn your ass every time you go to your nephew's Little League game, those ones. And they set them out there. They get Congress, a bunch of high-ranking foreign military guys, and Alvin
Dog and pony, bruh.
York's widow sitting out there looking at the Sergeant York on the practice field, and the only thing in eyesight is the latrine. The demonstration kicks off, the first drone's flying by, the operators inside the Sergeant York turn on the radar. It's supposed to auto lock onto the helicopter. It's literally the only thing that's moving, and instead of beaming up to lock onto this helicopter drone, it immediately pans over and aims at the latrine because it sees the movement from the exhaust fan and interprets that as the closest viable target and aims at that instead. Drone finishes its flyby, nothing happened. Okay, drone loops back around to do another flyby. Operators inside the Sergeant York are like, okay, rough start, no big deal. We locked onto the shitter instead of the helicopter. It's fine. Let's switch over to heat signature. So they switch over to lock onto a heat signature.
No, there's a lot of heat signatures there. Oh no.
And it does exactly what it was programmed to do. It locks on to the closest heat signature, which is not the helicopter, it's the hot-ass bleachers with all the congressional members and Alvin York's widow on it. So now Congress and Alvin York's widow are looking down the barrels of two 40mm Bofors, at which point everybody begins running and jumping off of these bleachers for obvious reasons. Some of the Congress people and military officers get hurt, they twist their ankles, whatever, and obviously this ends up being the end of the Sergeant York program, and it is considered a gigantic failure.
Wow, dude, I really thought this was gonna have a better ending. I thought it was gonna be like, the tank fucking sucks. Oh, we can't get it to work. The people are screaming at us. They're mad. We should cancel the project. Nah, wait, hold on. We can figure it out. Hold on, give it some time. And they figure it out, and then fucking boom. It's just fantastic, right? And they actually get it to work, and it's amazing, and it's flawless, except like, oh, wait, we don't need it anymore, so we're just gonna put it inside of a basement to just sit and do nothing. It works now, but people still remember it as the worst tank. I thought that was, maybe that would be but there's no happy ending to this at all. It just sucked. That's it. It sucked from the beginning. It sucked at inception. It sucked during the process. It sucked during the building. It was too much money. And after all of that, and a whole bunch of months and time, everyone came to the conclusion that it was just bad. Fuck it.
We're returning quick!
Keep my name out your mouth.
Today, there's only a couple left in existence. There's one in the Alvin York Historical Park in Tennessee, and the other one is inside of the Air Defense Training Facility at Fort Sill.
Thought this thing was really going to redeem itself by the end of the video, but no, it just blows.
Both of which stand as gigantic 54-ton, $8 billion examples of you should probably just follow the KISS principle and keep it simple, stupid. Speaking of the Air Defense Training Facility, I do have to give a special thank you to Corey, the curator of that facility, and Fort Sill as a whole for letting me and my friend Ethan, Mr. Habitual Line Crosser here on YouTube, to come on the post and get an exclusive tour for our new Pepperbox exclusive TV show, Habitually Fat. That tour is where I got a lot of...
Jonah, what's good, man? How are you? Yeah, that thing sucked. That was, I mean, I'm surprised they never changed the name, but because, I mean, this thing never lived up to its name. This was, the vehicle was named after one of the most legendary sharpshooters the military's ever seen. But this vehicle, not only did it not shoot down any enemy aircrafts, it couldn't even shoot down the practice aircrafts. And then it got shelved just as quickly as it got made and tested. But, you know, it's a reminder, I guess. Keep the name, I suppose. If I were Sergeant York, I'd be a little bit salty, at least from the great beyond. Like, you motherfuckers. This tank is a piece of shit and you're just gonna leave my name attached to it? What are people gonna think? Huh? You do me like that. Put me on another weapon system, for Christ's sake. Get me off this. I don't know. But... Oh, dude. Why is that there? Why do those pop up? Alright. Let's see... Let's see what the next one is. Go back to, no, I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to watch that. Oh yeah, this Angry Cops video. ICE rearrests Jordanian for breaking onto Quantico. I don't understand. Rearresting someone implies that you let him go. And I guess is there no did he serve his time and get released? What's the punishment and the length of the punishment for breaking onto Quantico? Right? Let's say you break into McDonald's after hours, right? Breaking and entering, trespassing on private property. Maybe a couple days in jail, right? Maybe a fine. But breaking onto Quantico, I would assume that'd be different, correct? Government facility, government property, sitting on government fucking land, right? Trespass on this place. What's the amount of time you spend in jail? Couple hours? Couple days, couple weeks, couple months. What is it? All I know is that when you rearrest someone, that means you let them go at one point or another. So let's see.
You have IT needs? We have IT solutions.
Sorry. Me. Need to Ugh, really? I'll do it later. Okay. Is the what? Is that on Cuba land U.S. military? Oh, you mean Guantanamo Bay? No, dude. Quantico is CIA. That's somewhere in Virginia, I think. Quantico, Langley, all the CIAs and shit. They're all in Virginia, I think. You're thinking about Quantico, or no? You're thinking about Guantanamo Bay. That is a prison. I don't think this dude was there. Maybe they. I don't know. We'll see. It says in the thumbnail that he got deported. But damn, imagine he gets deported and then gets rearrested after getting deported. Like, how do you rearrest someone that you kicked out of the country? I don't know.
2 foreign nationals nabbed after an alleged breach of the U.S. Marine base in Quantico, Virginia.
2 Jordanians are in ICE custody after allegedly being stopped at the Quantico gate earlier this month.
Finally, we have an update to the 2 Jordanians who were in the United States illegally crashing the gate of Quantico. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I've done 2 videos on these 2 cats who took a U-Haul truck up to the gates of Quantico. Quantico guards said, hey, something's not right. How about you just go over here to the secondary checkpoint, and then decided to crash the gate and try to make it into the post. A little bit of a red flag. Now I'll break it all down and I'll quickly refresh your memory on what exactly happened to get us here. But first, a word from this video's sponsor. Okay. We all have bad habits. Mine is screaming at a camera in my basement, hoping that the federal government will listen to it and fix some of its shit. And sometimes we need help. Fume Topper when you order your journey pack today. First, let's refresh our memories. Who are these 2 knuckleheads? Well, one we've got Mohammed Khair Dubois. Not really sure how you say it.
Benoit. Balls.
He got into the United States because he had a student visa. But even though it expired, he's still here. And then we have this beauty, Hassan Yusuf Hamdan. Hassan Yusuf Hamdan. Hassan Yusuf Hamdan. Who, get this, crossed the southern border illegally in San Diego. Who'd have thunk? Back in April of 2024. And back then, ICE was just giving out appearance tickets to people that crossed the border illegally. And Hassan was one of those guys. Crossed the border, hey there ICE, I'm in San Diego. Here's a little piece of paper that says show up to a court date, and then he was off into the United States.
Who even shows up to those court dates? What is that? What is that? What are those tickets? What are those tickets even for? That shit probably holds about as much weight as actually going to jail in Monopoly. Nothing at all.
Care in the world. Well, then these 2 Jordanians that are now in the States illegally, one crossing the border illegally and one having the student visa expire, they meet up in Virginia. And the story is they rent a U-Haul truck, it's empty, they go to Quantico, they say, hey, we're Amazon delivery guys, we're subcontracted out from another Amazon delivery. Crossing the border illegally and one having the student visa expire, they meet up in Virginia. And the story is they rent a U-Haul truck, it's empty, they go to Quantico, they say,
what was the plan? At least had the truck been full of explosives, I know the plan. But not even that. No bombs, no guns, no drugs, no nothing to cause any kind of death, destruction, nothing. Just you snuck into the country to sneak onto Quantico. For what? With no weapons, no nothing, right? Maybe you're just weird. I don't understand. What was the plan? God, dude, that's literally the equivalent of, oh, you go to rob a bank and you're by yourself, you don't even have a mask on your face, you don't have a weapon, nothing. You're just like, yes, hello, I would like to rob this place, please. Just if you would please not call the police until I get all the money, that would be fantastic. I would truly appreciate that if you could just do me a solid. You can be a lamb, right? Don't hit that emergency button. I would like to know what the fuck they were thinking.
Hey, we're Amazon delivery guys. We're subcontracted out from another Amazon delivery group. we gotta get on post. And the guards on Quantico are like,
I don't believe you.
please go over to this staging area. We're gonna do secondary searches. Then Hassan and Muhammad decide that's not what they want to do and try to run through the gate until the barriers go up.
Fords where you just... Oh!
Permanently injured? When you demand money from an insurance company, no...
I've laughed at that way too many times to laugh at it anymore.
We're trying to crash the gate. Now that's in May. And throughout the summer, from August to September and October, there's 1 or 2 different hearings that they have to go to. And one of them is, hey, we know you're here illegally, but we're gonna give you $10,000 and $15,000 bail. And for those of you who know anything about bail, all you have to do is front 10%, and then you can get out. So $1,000 and $1,500. And then these guys just had to show up to whatever court appearances they had next. That's right, people that are here in the country illegally, crashing a military post, are given bail, to which they pay $1,000 or $1,500, or then they're free to go and do as they please.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? For some reason, I just don't feel like I would get that I don't feel like I'd get that same treatment if I did exactly what they did. I just don't. I don't feel like I would get that courtesy. Okay, that's enough of that. Ugh.
Burn now. On the honor system, which so far is something that they haven't really been adhering to. Well, since then, I'm not sure if you've heard, there's been a change in administration.
Sorry to keep you waiting, complicated business.
And now President Trump, well, again, President Trump, has selected a new border czar who is just motivated to do his job.
Best job I ever had.
And that brings us to today's update, which has some interesting new information. In one of the 2 previous videos I made about this, there were concerns about people coming across the border, and although they're being screened, ICE was having issues with determining whether or not people were on a terrorist watch list. Do you see the foreshadowing here? Can you believe that Hassan is on a terrorist watch list? That's right. They didn't catch it at the border. They didn't catch it when he was detained for trying to jump the post gate. But somehow, the United States Congress and several congressmen and women discovered that this whole incident happened and found Hassan on a terrorist watch list and sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney in charge of Virginia, Jessica Aber.
Okay, this is something that you need to do with a fucking phone call. A phone call, a text, a page, a FaceTime, a video call. I know y'all have it. I know y'all have the fucking CIA version of Skype. Send a letter.
Aber doesn't have the ability to work here anymore because she got let go. But the letter says, hey, this guy's on a terrorist watch list. Why did you let him go? Why did you let him go on bail? Why did you let him go at all if he's on a terrorist watch list and he's running into freaking military posts?
What's going on?
Which I think is a valid question. So up until the past few days, Hassan and Muhammad, God knows where the Muhammad is,
roaming around, dude. And they're on a terrorist watch list. Roaming free. Because you let them. Oh my god. This is the equivalent of, like, I've seen so many videos. This reminds me of so many, not so many, a handful, if that. A handful of videos that I've seen where it's either someone that has a bolo out on them, or it's a prison escapee. I remember I saw one video, this dude escaped from prison and successfully he ran into a cop. He was on foot. I think on foot, either on foot or I think it was on foot. Ran into a cop. And he successfully convinced the cop that he was just out for an afternoon jog, right? And that was it. And he got away. Cop let him go, right? Didn't even do any kinds of due diligence or nothing. Didn't look him up in the system. Hey, what's your name? None of that. Like, Maybe he asked for his name, but like, bro, just let him go straight up. And this dude was like, just escaped prison. Like literally 30 minutes ago, he was in jail and now he's not. And then this cop's like, okay, man, well, enjoy your run. I was like,
but Hassan,
if you got no probable cause, you can't ask this motherfucker for ID, right? And technically, this person doesn't have to identify themselves to you if you don't suspect them of a crime. Maybe the officer didn't recognize them, right? Or just recognize the name. The news probably traveled slow, and he didn't know that anyone even escaped jail. But it's just crazy. But it's just like, that's what it reminds me of.
on the terrorist watch list, not once, but twice, to include the time he tried to crash a military post. He's gone, but we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's
So y'all dropped the ball, but y'all found him, okay?
right. That change in administration, well, I guess it lit a fire under somebody's butt, and Hassan's been recaptured. That's right, he's back in custody. Now, it's not entirely
Should have never been let go.
clear what the charges are, if there's new charges, or if this is because of the Quantico incident, but ICE has detained Hassan again, and he's now sitting in one of the correctional facilities in Virginia, where one of two types of people are held. One type are immigrants seeking asylum seekers. And the second are illegal aliens that are about to be deported. So I think we can all kind of see where Hassan is going after all of this.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. Wouldn't it be hilarious? We should just do this for people on terrorist watch list. We shouldn't do this to just regular people that come here illegally. I know you're coming here illegally, but there's no reason to troll you. However, for this man, for terrorists on terrorist watch lists, when we deport them, let's just start sending them to a random country that's not their country of origin. He's from Jordan, right? Let's fuck around and send his ass to, I don't know, Australia. No, because then we would be hurting Australia. Let's just send his ass to Iran and let him find his way back to Jordan. Or send him to Turkey. Drop his ass off in Lebanon. Drop his ass off in Egypt. Drop his ass off right here by the Nile River. Let him find his way back to Jordan. I don't know. Don't make it easy for him. Drop him somewhere in Siberia. If you can make your way back, congrats. But I'm sure Siberia will get you. I don't know. Siberia has him now. Kind of like a Bangkok thing, but anyways.
Probably back to Jordan. Although they have opened up Guantanamo Bay for the worst of the doers. So that terrorist watch list coming in here, who knows? Maybe we might just get a little bit of information from somebody. I'm just, the possibilities are endless. Wouldn't that be interesting? Or, hey, he just goes back over to Jordan because, yeah, not a good look to have people bashing the gates of our military posts staying in country when they're here illegally. So there's your update. One half of the story is done. It's over. It's kaput. The guy's arrested. He's probably going to be going back somewhere. I don't know what's going to happen with Muhammad. I can't wait to figure that out. Considering him and Hassan were bosom buddies, both ramming the gates at the park, I would not hesitate to guess that maybe his number is coming up as well.
These have got to be the dumbest terrorists that I've seen in a while. And it's not like I'm mad. I mean, I'm happy that a terrorist was here and didn't really get away with anything. And no one got injured, right? And nothing exploded and nothing caught fire. Right, so I'm happy about that, but like, good lord, y'all are bad. What was the plan? You successfully snuck into the United States, which is, an accomplishment all on its own. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know how easy and or difficult it is. But I do know that people die on the way, so there is a degree of difficulty that comes with getting into this country from the southern border. But you managed to do that, right? And then you managed to get your hands on a fucking moving truck. I don't know how you do that, because anytime I've ever gotten a moving truck, I had to show ID, insurance, phone number, address, like the whole, I don't know. I don't even know how y'all do that. Maybe y'all stole it, right? only to ram the gate of Quantico with nothing in the vehicle. And I've seen plenty of big vehicles of that size ramming a gate before, and it's usually followed with an explosion. That didn't happen. And then they let you go on some stupid shit, and you roam around the United States for like, what, a couple of months? And you do nothing. You kill no one, you harm no one, nothing. You don't even make a plan to do anything, and you're on a terrorist watch list? What was your original crime that landed you on the watch list? Because from what I saw, you just showed up without any kind of direction, guidance, nothing. Were you waiting on the boss to get there? And you're just a henchman? Boss never arrived, you were just like waiting? Boss is like, oh, I got held up, just hang around for a couple weeks. What was the plan? Y'all did nothing. Y'all accomplished nothing. The only thing you did is you made Quantico look bad for like, I don't know, a week and a half. And that's it. You didn't even... And bro, Quantico was so lost that you actually could have caused catastrophic damage. Really. And not just to Quantico, you could have caused catastrophic damage, period. But you didn't even do that. Good God, man. Like, the culprits of 9/11 are rolling in their fucking grave right now, talking about like, what are you doing? You had weeks, and you were already in the country. What were you doing the whole time? I don't know. That's like, y'all are trash. Mm-hmm.
So, hey there, kids. If you want to stay in America, maybe don't bum rush a military gate in a U-Haul truck. Probably not a good look. Best way to support the channel?
They weren't going to stay in America anyways. They were illegal and they were on a terror watch list. You know, just like the FBI's top 10 most wanted, just like some of these other ones, you think that the terror watch list would be made available to police, border patrol. Why is it just the CIA and the FBI that has this list? Don't police can't police have a gander at this list, right? Wouldn't that be helpful if a police officer pulled someone over because of a busted taillight, and then he ran some information and could just tell right there on the spot that person was on a terror watch list? And wouldn't that just make y'all's lives easier if like regular beat cops, patrol cops could actually make the assertion and take advantage of that information if they had it? Be less motherfuckers that get away, right? Because what do illegal aliens that are on a terrorist watch list not have? Documentation. So chances are they stole a car. You see a car without plates, cop pulls it over. Wouldn't it be great if he could actually have that list readily available? I don't know, man. I don't even know how he would do it. It's not like he walks around with a fucking bat system or anything like that. I don't even know how he would make the distinction, because if this person has no documentation or no identification, how would you even tell if he was on a watch list? But that's when this person gets arrested, and then, you know, they do some fingerprints at the station, some swabbing of DNA, and there you go. Probably can't do it right there on the fly at the actual traffic stop, but wouldn't that be great if you could actually make that distinction inside of the jail or the police station? Does that list only have to be available to the CIA and the FBI? How do people miss this? And I don't know, man, quite possibly make this list available to the people at the fucking front gate. You got pictures? You got any kinds of photos of... I mean, come on, man. I did this shit. When I was deployed, man. I operated ECPs, and in these ECPs, we ran a bat system. Bro, we retinal scanned and cotton swabbed the mouth and the eyeballs of hundreds of people that would come into the installation to work, right? And if you were flagged on this fucking bat system, guess what? I mean, we didn't kill you or beat your ass, but you were denied entrance. That was it. And if you were a HVT, oh, bro, we arrested you on the spot. That's it. We detained you if you were HVT, right? And that shit would pop up on the bat system. So, I mean, we had that. I don't know why y'all don't have that. And y'all are gate guard at Quantico. That's weird to me, but...
Get yourself a t-shirt. gathering the goon.
Anyways, that's it on that video. All right. Oh man, I fucking. With the way planes just keep falling out of the sky from poor man. Oh, dude. There was a. I'm telling you, I saw a thumbnail for it. It was like people were just making fun of it. There was recently a plane crash, and people were making a big deal about it because the entire staff of the plane was all female, which I don't think that matters, to be honest. Right? Like, I feel like a female could fly a plane just as good as a man, because that's just about intelligence and decision making, right? And just being smart, right? Being good at your job. That right there doesn't really, that's not gender specific. And you're not making strenuous moves with your body, so body strength has no bearing on who can be a pilot, right? But I think there was just recently a plane crash and the entire staff was female, and I think people were making fun of it, just like memeing it and trolling and shit like that. I'd like to find the video, to be honest. I never saw it. I just saw the thumbnail. Now I'm imagining the military having the bat computer. It's okay, so it's bats. I forget what it's called, but it's something bats. And basically what it was this system where we would put it up to the face. It was like this. It almost looked like a really big GoPro. Take a GoPro and make it bigger by blow it up like 20 times, make it that big. Like this big, right? You put it up to their face, it scans their eyeballs, and then you take a swab, you scan the inside of their mouth, you stick the little thing inside of the machine, it does its thing, and you basically know who you're looking at. You basically identified who this person is, right? And if you can't identify who this person is, that's not a bad thing. That just means that they're not a criminal. They haven't done any wild shit. They haven't had any bad run-ins with the military. And this system will track that shit. Right? It will. Like, there was one guy that came in one time, and the bat system picked up the fact that at one point he had been caught and detained for planting IEDs, digging and planting IEDs. That showed up on the bat system. We denied him entry to the fob, right? So that's just how that went. But you got to get their retinal scan, and you got to get the swab of their cheek or some kind of DNA, right? So I operated that shit. So if I was doing that, I don't know why Quantico's not doing that. Not for every person, I get it, honestly, but like obviously for that situation where the dude just rammed the fucking gate, that would be your time. Detain that fucker and see. No normal everyday American is ramming the fucking gate of Quantico, bro, so that you didn't check to see if he was on a terror watch list. You didn't check to see if he was a citizen. And given that behavior, ramming the gate of Quantico, you didn't even do a toxicology screening. You did nothing. You did nothing to figure out what the fuck this guys, two men were about. And now just imagine something does go wrong. Now that's on you. Yeah, it almost reminds me of the scene from Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, but I saved everyone. And what does he say? He's like, what if someone would have died today? He's like, that's on you, right? He's like, and if you die, I feel like that's on me. Right? It almost reminds me of that. It's just ugh. All right. What are we watching next? No, I didn't want that to pull up. That's annoying. I shouldn't have closed any of that. Let me see what the last one was. Okay. It's between these two. Would y'all rather watch 15 largest and insane military vehicles or a video about how Kathleen Kennedy refuses to quit ruining Star Wars? I kind of want to watch the one about Star Wars. And I'm going to go get some more coffee and smoke. So let me do it's up to me. Oh Lord. All right, but if it's up to me, if you say so. But just give me a second. I need to. I'm gonna go get some more coffee, and then because I can't let that shit go to waste, and it's been sitting there for like an hour, still on. I probably should stop doing that. I need to go get it so I can turn off the fucking coffee pot. DeRozier, what's good, man? Give me a second. I'll be right back, dude. I'm gonna go smoke. I hope you've been doing good. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, get that. So much shit. All right. Dude, and maybe after this we can do a try not to laugh. Katai, if you're still in here and you have one, let me know. Right back. I'm here. Okay. Dude, my lighter ran out. And I had to use fucking matches. You know how annoying it is to use matches with a pipe? Pipe in one hand. So basically I had to put the matches between my legs and light that shit. I had to sit down to do this whole fucking thing. Can't do it standing up. I got 2 arms. Okay. Alright. Let that good lord. I fucking can't. Good. Okay. Let's see. Just by show of hands. Anybody here still watch, like, interested in Star Wars at all in the slightest? At this current moment, I'm not talking about like back in the heyday or the golden days or I'm like talking about like right now. Again, dude, every time the topic of Star Wars, I always preface this by saying that I saw all the old ones, man, all of them. And while I don't go to conventions or anything, I'm not like a super fan, and I've only seen those old movies one time a piece. I haven't rewatched them or gone back over and watched them in a specific order, like, you know, certain Star Wars communities like to do. But I did see the old ones, and I enjoyed them. And then, oh, what? I can't even remember. I haven't seen any of the new stuff, really. Because I haven't wanted to. And that's not even me listening to the fans that say, oh, it sucks, it's stupid, they're ruining it, it's awful, which is probably true. The only reason the real reason I haven't seen anything new is because, like, I don't know, man. Like, once I see something, I don't really have to see it again. I don't have to see it again in a different format. I don't have to see it again in a different variation. I don't, you know? Same thing with Jurassic Park, same thing with same thing with Home Alone. If they were to make a new Home Alone series today, I wouldn't watch it. I don't care. I already saw it. I've been there, done that, bro. Been there, done that. Right? So that's why I was like, oh, Star Wars stuff. Yes. That's how I've always been. Like, it was like it was something established that I liked, right? So if they ever decided to reboot the Matrix, bro, go away. I've been there, and it was amazing back then. I'll keep that memory. It's fine, man. It's good. So, but for other Star Wars fans, it's a little bit more daunting and full of anxiety and negativity and anger, probably, because yeah. Some stories are just boring. Well, with Star Wars, I don't even think it's the fact that
throughout all this, because as you're expanding, there has to be a creative through line for everything, right?
You know, I think first of all, the thing that we really aspire to constantly is quality.
Hollywood is a creative black hole from which there is no escape.
The inability to find new talent for films, other than checking for actors' Instagram followers.
Ethan Hawke says casting actors based on Instagram followers is crazy. Some young people...
It is. It's wild. I'd like to know...
People think being an actor is protein shakes and going to the gym.
Now you know why Zendaya
Ew!
is literally in everything.
Also how difficult it is to get things made. And it's like, you know, where it's like, I don't care about Instagram. Instagram sucks. Right, but just so you know, if you have over this many followers, you can get the movie funded. Well, I want to make the movie, so you know, ugh.
It's over. We are screwed.
To the fact that Hollywood has run
in the grand scheme of things in Star Wars, what has really happened? what has actually really happened since Luke, I am your father, right? What has happened since all of the like how has that even progressed? Is it still the light versus the dark side? Right? It's still good versus evil? Is it still like, are we still at battle with the Death Star? Like, that's what I remember, right? What is it that they're doing now? I don't. Again, I really could be fucked to care, but because I haven't seen it.
The superhero movie genre into the.
No, that's a lie, bro. I did see a recent Star Wars. What was the one with Kylo Ren? Where he goes all apeshit on his computer monitors. Bro, that's really the only thing from that movie that I remember. When he gets mad and he fucks up all his fucking iPads and Xboxes and fucking fourth monitors and shit. What was that movie? Kylo Ren? I did see that. And that just goes to show you how good I thought it was. I can only remember one thing, and that's him going apeshit on his own tech. Whatever happened in that movie, man, I couldn't even tell you, man. I can't even remember. So, very forgettable movie for me. Force Awakens? Okay, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, and that's all I can remember. Maybe my memory's bad. Maybe I smoke a lot of weed. Or maybe it was just a forgettable movie for me. I don't know about you, but
ground and is slowly shifting its focus to video games and anime adaptations because they are too cowardly to risk creating new IPs. They cannibalize the physical media market in favor of streaming services, shooting themselves in the foot with a combat shotgun, all in a sad attempt to have more control over the consumer, and only succeeded in killing off the ability to make films that made money on the back end from DVD sales.
Best-selling films across physical video formats. Physical video, guys. This means like VHS, DVDs, etc. Nothing downloaded or nothing digital. Lion. Wow. And here's the beauty of it. To this day, if I saw these movies in a store, VHS or DVD, I would be inclined to buy it. Because they're just amazing. I cannot believe Spider-Man is... Damn. I mean, which Spider-Man is that? Is that the first one or the second one? Because the second one was the best one. The one versus Doc Ock? That was the best one. I wonder which Spider-Man they're talking about. Maybe that's the OG Spider-Man. That gross... I mean, maybe not most of these movies. I wouldn't buy Cinderella, but I mean, dude, that's some true nostalgia right there, man.
Oh well, it's that time of year when you get the news Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Star Wars again. But this time, for sure.
Bullshit artist!
The insurmountable amount of failures are hard for even an incestuous entity like Hollywood to ignore.
Who will run Star Wars after Kathleen Kennedy leaves? One of Hollywood's hottest and hardest jobs opens up.
Star Wars was...
What? Who will run Star... One of Hollywood's hottest and hardest jobs opens up? What? Running Star Wars? Hard? Hard? I know about like 20 fucking YouTubers right now that could do her job in the blink of an eye. As far as the creative process, creative directing, character development, I think like 20 YouTubers right now that could do that. I can think of hundreds of people. I could think of random fans that could do it better.
Kennedy leaves. One of Hollywood's hottest and hardest jobs opens up.
Star Wars was once a license to print money. And now it's one of the hardest jobs ever. Well, sure, if you run a business like...
The Force Unleashed was I didn't see that. That's what it was called, The Force Unleashed. With with Starkiller. No, that's a game, The Force Unleashed. If I remember correctly. But hey, outside of like Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, the ones that sucked anyways, at the very least, the Star Wars video games are doing better, right? Comparatively. Comparatively, the video games are doing better? Maybe a stretch. What was that recent Star Wars game that came out? Outlaws? Star Wars something, I don't know. There's something. I don't know.
Like a damn fool, it would seem hard, doing everything so monumentally backwards that South Park can make entire episodes out of all of your gaps.
I fucking love that movie. The South Park movie. The Panderverse. God, that was so good. If y'all haven't seen it, even if you're not into South Park, man, just watch that one. It's so good.
And mishandlings.
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more lame. Put a chick in it, make her gay. Put a chick in it and make her lame and gay. Put a chick in it, make her gay.
No, really, because it's kind of a thankless job, of course. The intergalactic franchise is sacrosanct as a cultural institution.
What the fuck are you talking about? It's Star Wars. This is shooty lasers in space. What the fuck are you talking about? Like you're Da Vinci or some shit. What are you saying? A whole bunch of word diarrhea. Do you got the same script that Kamala Harris had? You're saying... Oh my god. It's a make-believe universe and you're just like, oh, well, the intricacies of the... Shut the fuck up. Star Wars. My god. She's over here on the verge of trying to explain string theory.
So the president of Lucasfilm's, home to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, has one of the most prestigious posts in Hollywood. But there's also the reality that they'll be trolled on social media, parodied on South Park.
That basically translates to, this job is really hard and no one out there knows how hard my job actually is, especially all these fucking men. And all these men are just nothing but trolls. They have nothing valuable to say. Really? Because last I checked, men was the main demographic of Star Wars. Let me call up every ex-girlfriend I've ever had and ask them if they give a fuck about Star Wars, and I guarantee you the answer is no. No, bro. I've never encountered, and they exist, don't get me wrong, but I personally have never encountered a single fucking female that give a fuck about your franchise, or about how it went, or about the characters, or about what the characters do, and how they behave, and what they say. This is solely for men. That's why you're tanking. Because you're trying to make it for a demographic that doesn't like your product. Yo, girls don't care about this shit. They don't. And they only give a fuck about it for as long as for as long as you have drama there. That's it. You basically turned Star Wars into Gossip Girl. At the end of the day. Vampire Diaries. At the end of the day. Borderline on the originals. At the end of the day. Like... you're in the pursuit of hooking 13-year-old adolescent girls with your drama and your female-driven whatever, than to actually catering to the 99% of your audience, which is men, teenage boys, and young adult dudes. But you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You know, eventually this fucking whole she movement will end, bro. MCU is on the way out. It is, I'm telling you. One of these days, y'all will just like, and it's not even about that. It's just about like some fucking butthurt chick that just does not want to give the fans what they want because she secretly hates the fans. You can see it. For the entire fan base is males. That's how it always has been. And you were just like, fuck you. and then you get trolled, you lose money, your shit tanks, and what do? You blame it on us because we didn't go see the movie. Because you told us not to. Because you said, fuck you. Or you took our favorite characters and you said, fuck your favorite character. Kill him off, make it lame, make it a female, and make it gay. Why would we watch? You see what you do to yourself? You're not the only one, Star Wars, Kathleen. You're not the only one that does this. A slew of other creators, directors that do the same thing, right? And then they wonder why they fail, and then they blame us, and it's just it's a vicious cycle. That's what it is. Fucking snooze fest.
And criticized as a woke, too corporate, too slavishly devoted to George Lucas' vision, or willing to depart from the Jedi canon. And the movies that have appeared in the decades plus since Disney acquired Lucasfilms for $4 billion have been an exercise in diminishing returns, both financially and critically. Meanwhile, Disney Plus spin-off television shows such as The Acolyte.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, the one outlier, which I really want to see, and I still haven't seen, but you know what? I wasn't going to watch it because I just don't want to buy Disney. I don't want to pay for Disney Plus. My sister has Disney Plus. You want to know why? Because it's for my niece. So unless that thing isn't restricted to only the child section, I think I could watch Mandalorian. How many seasons of Mandalorian? I'm going to be so upset if it's only like 1 or 2 seasons. I don't... 1 or 2 season shows irk me. 2 seasons so far, but it's gonna continue, right? Like, it's not like Moon Knight. Moon Knight only got 1 season, and I was interested in Moon Knight, but that's on Disney Plus too, right? I think Moon Knight only got 1 episode, and I think Moon Knight's done, right? I like multiple seasons of stuff. At the very least, up until 8. Okay, so I guess they're still running. I might give it. At the very least, Moon Knight. I want to watch Moon Knight and Mandalorian. I will give those a go. Outside of that, I can't watch any of this. I fucks with Boba Fett. I think he's such a badass character, man. Just from the Star Wars games that I played and just like from what I've seen in the movies and shit like that, and he's a badass. Other than that, here we go.
Have been unceremoniously canceled after 1 season.
Star Wars was a successful brand with a devoted fan base, even after the prequel trilogy that many of us looked down upon at the time. Everything Star Wars still sold like gangbusters back then. The toys and even movie props communities were thriving. Everyone made money off of Star Wars. When Disney bought it, there were high hopes because the fan base thought George Lucas fell off.
These are my kids.
And
Sell
you
them off
sold
to
them.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and
But in hindsight, we were all so very wrong. I'll admit, I thought the choices made in the prequels didn't work for me. When George Lucas sold to Disney, I knew it would be bad. Hell, Lucas himself signing the paper, he knew it would be bad. And it's frozen in time forever, that worried look in his eyes. But none of us ever imagined it would be this bad.
This can't be real.
That Star Wars would die. This line here struck me while I was reading it live. Too woke. You can't look at The Acolyte and call it anything other than pandering garbage, devoid of meaning or substance.
How many spice creams are you gonna eat tonight? I think I'll eat at least 4.
Hedlund wanted her Star Wars series to be everything but Star Wars. Kill Bill, Cowboy Bebop, Frozen, these were her inspiration. A head full of ideas and none of them were her own. The casting of a smug Nepo baby who saw herself as a counter-revolutionary with a billion-dollar corporation behind her that wanted Disney to do more to protect her from people's opinions about her wet blanket acting.
Vitriol, vitriol, and vitriol. Hatred, rampage, bigotry.
And that's the series I can remember off the top of my head, not because it was good.
Bigotry? Bigotry? Why? Is it because you're black? Because one of the best actors of all time, black, one of. Good old Denzel, man. What the fuck are you talking about, bigotry? Shut up, bro. If you suck, you suck. Take your criticism in stride and shut the fuck up.
But because it was so bad, I felt like I wasted my life just watching. Now, Star Wars series and movies are all so forgettable because Disney turned art into content. All this for streaming services and near annual releases with no planning. But this wasn't Kennedy.
Yo, look at that. Oh my god.
All this for streaming services and near annual.
Look at that. That gives me a headache. And you know what? I think this may have been the catalyst for me quitting on Marvel too. They did this very same shit. I saw it. They were like, these are the phases. Right? Phase 4. And I saw all of it and I was just like, my god, that's fuck, man. When I look at it from this point of view, that looks exhausting. To be honest, that doesn't even look exciting, man. God, dude, yearly releases, that kills everything. I'm an advocate of that. It kills everything. Even in the video game world, it'll do that. That yearly release bullshit, it's old. It'll get old after a while. It's cool at first because it's new and it's like, yeah, give us more, hell yeah, and it's novel, right? But after a certain point, oh, this just gets exhausting. I prefer like put out a good movie. It has a fantastic story, maybe some world building, right? And then sure, you could put out a sequel the following year, or you could just like wait a year or two. I know that's not how the game is played. I know that's not how the industry works, but I don't know, man. It's that year after year bullshit. You know what that does? That causes creative strain. Creative strain. Look how much you're having to. Look how much creative shit is getting spread apart. You got the creativity, right? You got this creativity, and creativity is going to episode 1, and creativity is going to episode 2 and episode 3 and Solo and Clone Wars and Star Wars reels and Rogue One. And even though some of this shit is at the very end, a lot of this shit is probably being worked on at the same time, right? Rise of Skywalker, Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Resistance, Force Awakens, and it's just like, I guarantee your writers are strained. Your creative department is strained. You're spread too thin. And sometimes that shit shows, man. That shit showed with Marvel. It showed with Marvel. They were spread too thin. They were doing all this shit with Disney Plus and all the streaming and blah, blah, blah. And the people that were working on the streaming stuff were also working on the movies, right? And they took people off the movies to work on the streaming stuff. And in that case, the movie suffered. The movie suffered. The quality was bad. The writing got worse. Even the CGI got bad. Imagine Marvel CGI, the people that made Iron Man, right? It's just like, when you try to do too much, man, you end up not doing much at all. And when you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to no one. So it's just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, sucks for y'all.
releases with no planning. But this wasn't Kennedy's fault. It was hard to be in charge of Star Wars, you guys.
Oh, yo, Jeff, happy birthday, man. Happy late birthday. I should have seen that like 10 whole ass minutes ago.
Because of the online trolls.
You have done that yourself.
This excuse is something that I expect from a DSP pre-stream, not a damn Variety article. You may have forgotten how stupid Kathleen Kennedy's reign was. So let me refresh your memory as quickly as possible.
J.J. Abrams admits that obviously Disney didn't have a real plan when it made the new Star Wars trilogy. Having a plan, I have learned in some cases the hard way, is the most critical thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up.
J.J. Abrams, one of the most...
Was that really the... That's wild.
Thing, because otherwise you don't know what you're setting up.
J.J. Abrams, one of the most overrated directors on God's green earth.
And again, for those who hate it, I could not respect your opinion more. And for those who love it, I question your sanity.
This man's supposed to be our Spielberg. Let that sink in. This article came out...
No. Spielberg is our Spielberg. What, did Spielberg retire and I didn't know it?
Years ago, and it's still painful to read because it's so fucking stupid. But then again, Kennedy was in charge and knew nothing truly about the franchise other than she wanted women to be the focus.
Making a Star Wars film is difficult due to the lack of comics and novels, says Lucasfilm's president. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels, says Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy when asked about the difficulties that come with making a Star Wars movie.
This was said literally after Disney decided to get rid of the expanded universe back in 2014.
10 years ago, Disney wiped out the Star Wars expanded universe from canon, but it's more important than ever.
Yeah, it is when you don't have any damn ideas.
In order to make Star Wars movies and TV shows, Disney made the difficult choice to remove the old expanded universe from canon. For the wisdom it...
That answers my question on that. I was like, what happened to all that stuff with the stuff that I know? What happened there? Cool. You just erased it. All right. I'm not overly upset. I'm not really crazy for Star Wars, right? I tell you what though, if Star Wars ever becomes good again, I'll check out a movie, maybe even check out a show. I mean, I do plan on checking out Mandalorian, and just out of curiosity, was the Mandalorian made under the leadership of Kathleen Kennedy? And how does that work? Because if the answer to that is yes, how do you make something that good and you're okay with it, but everything else ends up being so shit? You think if you can do it good once, you can do it good again, right? If you can do it good 2 times, you can do it good 3 times, right? And so on and so on. No, she didn't? Okay, well that explains everything then. Okay. Not really, because they brought back Gina Carano. But yeah,
it holds pertaining to the galaxy far, far away is now more important than ever.
Yeah, the people who wrote this stuff back then cared about what they were doing. You'd be surprised at how good things can be when people care. Ha! All the great expanded universe storylines they threw away to give us the trash they have is an unforgivable offense. They did opt to bring Thrawn into the live-action universe of Star Wars, but instead of him fighting with Luke Skywalker, we get Ahsoka. Yippee! Hooray!
You know, I will say, I did enjoy most of, if not all to a degree, most of the modern day Star Trek movies. With Chris Pine and bro, the actor that plays Spock, I love that guy. And I love Spock in the newer movies. I saw Star Trek when I was younger, like all of the older shit when I was younger, but I don't remember much. Saw it when I was younger, and I was like, okay. And then I watched Star Wars. And I was like, all right. But Chris Pine plays whatchamacallit. I enjoyed the Star Trek movie for the most part, like all the modern ones, more so than the Star Wars movie. But you know what? If Kathleen Kennedy was in charge of Star Trek would be in the same fucking boat right now, I feel. Because this is all decisions by her, right? Your decisions. Nova, get out of here. Nova, go. Oh my god, because you don't have thumbs. Ugh. Could be Zachary. The actor's name could be him, maybe. Yeah, Chris Pine. He plays Captain Kirk. Those, yeah, I like those Star Trek movies. Really enjoyed them. Well, there's never really nothing I hate. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge Star Trek nerd either, right? But I'm sure that like the super Star Trek nerd maybe might not like the newer Star Trek movies because it's not like the originals and stuff like that. But I don't know, for what it was, I enjoyed it.
Who wants the heir of the Empire when you can have girl power and zombie stories?
I'm trying to get myself out of the habit of simply not liking something because it doesn't compare to what it was like 20 years ago, right? Like in some cases it's just bad because it's just bad, like the Independence Day sequel, that was just bad. But yeah, anyways.
Hooray! Who wants the heir of the Empire when you can have girl power and zombie stormtroopers? Delicious.
To give her due, Kathleen Kennedy had an extraordinarily difficult challenge. How do you take over George Lucas's baby? She did it and stayed for 13 years. There are very few franchises that have survived that long.
Few franchises have survived this long because they had morons like Kathleen Kennedy in charge of them, but they didn't have the bottomless pit of money that Disney has, propping up their failures for 13 years straight. This isn't the flex you thought it was. Only in America can a woman literally nosedive something, and we just go, look at her go.
Yet within hours of reporting, Kathleen Kennedy was stepped down as president of Lucasfilm.
I say Lucas.
Of Lucasfilms at the end of 2025, executives
It's called failing upwards.
Create talent mob.
We've seen it happen a lot. We see it happen a lot in Hollywood and television, right? You see someone fucking, you see a chick bomb, and like her next gig is even better than her last one, right? It's just like, how? It's
blah blah blah. Scramble to get on.
And I'm here to tell you, dude, people just hate the shit. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a chick. If there was a dude in charge doing the very same shit that Kathleen Kennedy's doing, the fans would speak up. And guess what? That dude exists. You know what his name is? Kevin Feige. I rest my case. So, people need to get the whole gender bullshit out of their head. Nah, man, we're not being feminizers. Bro, we're just like, your product sucks, girl. Fix it. We're your main demographic. Without us, you got nothing. How long do you think the fucking female population is gonna stick with Star Wars? No, it's because the female population just arrived at Star Wars. It's always been a dude thing for the most part, and now y'all are here. I get it, but y'all are outnumbered. So it's just I don't trying to.
On the radar of Disney CEO Bob Iger and Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman. There are only so many of these jobs to be had.
Who cares? Ultimately, the damage has been done to Star Wars. Kennedy should have been fired.
No, not really. People love Star Wars so much that if someone new steps in and starts doing a damn good job, guess what? The fans are coming back. It's Star Wars. This thing is interwoven into the culture of the whole damn planet. It's Star Wars, man. It's up there with like Coke products and Michael Jackson and 9/11 and just things of like great significance. It's Star Wars, man. Fire alarm? All right. Cool. My bad. My bad. The fire detector was going off. Or the smoke detector was going off.
Fired after The Force Awakens. You get rid of a cancer when it's discovered. You don't let it grow.
Yeah.
But then again, I think The Force Awakens made $2 billion from everybody just wanting some sort of Star Wars films. And then everybody's like, oh, this is kind of bad. And it just was all downhill from there. Whoever takes over her spot will need to be a creative genius and a visionary.
No, I don't think so. Because I think it's like, it's so shit that simply just being subpar would be an upgrade. So I don't really think you have to try all that hard to steer the shit back in the right direction. Or, you know, you do have a template that has already been tried and proven, and it's called all the old Star Wars shit. So if you get back to that, do it again, expand on it with some new stuff and some new elements, you're back on top, I feel. But
like George Lucas himself when he created Star Wars 50 years ago, or at least smart enough to read the room, which doesn't exist in modern Hollywood. The rest of this article is a puff piece for the woman that killed $1 billion franchise that has yet to pay itself off after being owned by Disney for almost 14 years.
yeah.
Rest in piss, you won't be missed.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't know what the it's crazy. Like her entire reign, it's nothing but bigots, and it's nothing but womanizers and all of these toxic men. And then the next year, oh, it's all of these toxic men, and the next year it's all of these toxic men, and the year after that. And it never even occurred to her that 98% of Star Wars fanatics are dudes. You're making some again. I'm preaching to the choir here, and I'm saying shit that has already been said. But like, dude, that's the entire demographic of Star Wars, man. Is dudes, and so you do everything that they fucking hate and don't like and don't want to see. They refuse to watch it, and then you get fucking pissed. A bunch of these toxic men refuse to come see the movie? Because it's not for them. You don't want to make it for them. No, you want to forsake your fucking customers, but you still want your customers to show up? No. No, that's not how it goes. You want to say, fuck the people that made you rich, but you still want them to continue making you rich, but you're not even making the product that they want. Excuse me? Yeah, that's why you're at where you're at. That's it. Realistically, there's no other way to put it. There's plenty of ways to look at it and explain it, but I mean, I feel like that's the most brain dead simple. That you need a change of coach. Fire the coach, get a new coach. That's it. And I don't even understand, because Hollywood is so money hungry. Right? At the end of the day, the almighty dollar rules all in Hollywood, yet y'all are willing to forsake millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for what? For what? So a couple of fucking female actresses can feel special about themselves for like a couple of months, right? Female empowerment, right? And then all that female empowerment, y'all are gonna forget about it next year. Y'all are gonna forget about it in 5 minutes as soon as the next drama rolls around on fucking Twitter. So, like, forsake millions and millions of dollars to appeal to 17 people. That's wild to me. In a business that is just dominated and ruled by money, the fact that y'all are willingly, on purpose, throwing it away for what? For what? Inclusivity? I'd rather be a billionaire than include anything, man. That's just me. I'd rather be a billionaire and hurt a couple of fucking feelings than to stay a millionaire and please everyone and make everyone happy, which at the end of the day is impossible. But they still think that that is an accomplishment that can be reached. No, it's not. Kind of like world peace. It's never gonna happen, man. Stop being naive. It's but hey, at the end of the day, I don't really have an axe to grind here. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just pointing out the fucking obvious because I'm not a dummy and I have a functioning brain. The cougar epidemic. Oh. Some old ladies want some young D, huh? And put that in the watch later. Where are these cougars at? Probably at the grocery store. More specifically, probably at Food Lion, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know, man. DC, it could have been so good. It could have been so good. I thought they were onto something whenever, for what it was, Black Adam was simply okay to me. But I thought they were cooking with something fierce whenever Amanda Waller was like, yo, you need to stay in Kahndaq. And he said, can't nobody make me do anything, girl. And she's like, okay, he'll be there in just one moment. And then Henry Cavill's Superman shows up. I was like, oh, they're on to something. And then boom, the movie ends. I'm pissed off. But still, I was like, oh, man, some future film, maybe a future fight between these two fuckers because Superman is weak to magic. Oh, dude, let's see it. Let's get it. And then bam, fired Henry Cavill. Or let go, or he said, fuck this. Or I don't know, man. There went all my hopes and dreams for seeing something spectacular. I was like, oh my god, man, the best part of this movie was the last scene. So there went any kind of like future hope that I had. Right there. I was just so upset. I was And then The Flash, that was underwhelming, right? It was just... Nobody can really seem to get The Flash right. And it's so fucking sad that the one that, aside from the animateds, it's sad that the one group that actually got the Flash somewhat correct, the CW. Because so far, and even that version of the Flash was just kind of brain dead, really, because it's the CW. The writing's not supposed to be stellar. I guess it would be great if the writing was actually good, but when it comes to CW, bad writing comes with the experience. I think that's standard. But just like, now I did like the Arrow. I did. They're not gonna do an Arrow movie, bro. You want to know why? Daredevil already exists. Batman rules the fucking box office. And if you think about it, Oliver Queen is just another Batman. He's a billionaire, except the difference is the only thing he uses is a bow and arrow. He uses a series of other gadgets, but he's not as insanely advanced as Bruce Wayne. He's just not. So that's just it. That's just it. And I liked the Arrow, and I especially liked the portrayal by Stephen Amell. That was good. There were some seasons that were better than others, but for the most part, out of all 8 seasons, man, I'd give it a pass. There were a couple of seasons that kind of went down the shitter because they were like, yeah, female empowerment. They did that in the show. They did. It was back with the whole Me Too thing. Remember, whole Me Too thing, and fucking, we were just not only were we feeling sorry for the victims, but we were just feeling sorry for women for no reason, right? And so they did a whole Me Too thing where like they made Oliver's girlfriend, which she was useful to the team, but like they made her the leader of Team Arrow, and I'm like, man, first off, Arrow don't have a fucking team. This motherfucker literally either works solo or with Black Canary from time to time. There is no team, but I'll take the fact that he has a team. And then they made this bitch the leader of it, and I'm like, first off, she's the tech girl. She has no business being there. She can barely do 10 push-ups, and what? Go away, and. They did the same thing on The Flash with stupid fucking Iris, and then goddamn Lois Lane is always getting in the way. It's not a female problem, bro. It's a girlfriend problem. It's a relationship. Always in the way. I miss CW. They canceled it in New Mexico. What do you mean? What do you mean they canceled the CW? Green Arrow's DC's Hawkeye. I mean, I like both. I feel like a TV show for Hawkeye would be pointless now. A movie for Hawkeye would be pointless now. A movie for Hawkeye would be... Anybody seen Captain America? Anybody? Anybody seen the new Captain America? You know, I've still only watched 1 season of Supernatural, and I always tell myself, I'm gonna watch Supernatural. I'm gonna watch Supernatural. Gonna watch Supernatural. And then I remember that it has like 10.5 trillion seasons to it, and I'm like, oh, I will. I promise I will. I'm gonna start it. You know. Not the movie. Wait, what did I just ask y'all? I can't even remember what y'all. I don't even know what y'all responding to. I can't even remember what the fuck I said. Refresh. Oh, y'all were responding to me asking if y'all have seen Captain America. Bro, nobody? None of y'all have? Me neither. I'm trying to find one person that has seen it just to see what they think. One person. That's all I want to find. But I doubt it. Because I even called my best friend. Well, actually, he called me, and I was like, hey, now that I got you on the phone, have you seen Captain America? He's like, no, but I heard it fucking tanked. And I was like, do you plan on seeing it? He's like, fuck no. He's like, when it's free, maybe, if I'm curious enough, maybe I will. I was like, dude, that's so sad, isn't it? And he's like, I know, right? We used to get so excited and wait in line at a theater to see these movies. I was like, I know. Sad day. Which sometimes, dude, sometimes I honestly can't tell if I'm just like getting older and outgrowing this genre, or if the genre is just really, really fucking sucking. Because sometimes I see people that are like my age that they still think that this shit's like amazing, right? And I'm just like, maybe we see something differently. I don't know, man. I can't tell. It's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's shit, but like it's just, dude, I would watch a TV series for Bucky. A whole ass TV series for Bucky, and like you could for Bucky, you could start the series like, remember when he falls off the train and Steve thinks that he died, and instead of dying he was actually captured by Zimov? He was captured by Zimov, I think, or whatever his name is, and turned into the Winter Soldier. Right? I would love if like they made a TV show and they started right there. The first episode is him falling off the train and everything he went through to become Winter Soldier and what he's been doing all this time. And they can even relive the events of him killing Tony's parents in the show and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I'd watch that. I'd watch that. For sure. But they're not going to do that. They already put him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I don't know. That would be so good though if they did that. Have the same actor reprise his role. Can't remember his name. That'd be so good. And also, you know what I would prefer? Zemo. With the Winter Soldier, is I prefer if he had less dialogue. And that's not even anything on like the actor. Not like I hate his voice or anything, or like hate when he speaks, but I would just prefer if the Winter Soldier had less dialogue. I would prefer if he was more of a silent stoic type instead of so fucking chatty. Right? Like, dude, you used to be mind controlled, man. You used to be fucking owned by another human being, and they made you carry out their bidding for them that included kidnapping and murder. You can't tell me that shit doesn't come with PTSD, right? And you got mind controlled for fucking decades. Decades. And you were cryo frozen. The amount of PTSD that comes with that, I was just hoping that Winter Soldier would be a more silent kind of, like, he speaks, but okay, if I had to give an example, remember the movie Gone in 60 Seconds? The guy that works in the morgue, their teammate, the tall guy that says nothing the entire movie, but he's still badass and he shows up and whoops ass and steals cars, and I can't remember his name, but at the end of the movie he delivers some like really, really heartfelt dialogue in like a very, very professional way, and like he's a very good speaker. Like he surprises everyone. He ain't said shit. Sphinx, that guy, that's what I feel like Winter Soldier should be. That's the character. Very quiet, doesn't say shit. He talks with his face. He talks with his actions. Maybe with his hands. Maybe with like eye movements and shit. But then out of nowhere, he'll say something, right? I kind of would prefer if the character was more like that. Instead, he's very chatty and sometimes even in like very chippy, good mood kind of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He cracks jokes and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with cracking jokes. I just prefer if the character was a little more you know, I just explained it. I can't really think of another way on how to say it. Sebastian Stan, yeah, that's his name. You know, it's funny, is when I went to go see Captain America and the Winter Soldier, actually, yeah, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or was it Captain America Civil War? I can't remember. I went to go see that for the first time. I was with my then girlfriend, and she was like, we went to go see it, and when Bucky revealed his face to Steve, she was like, "Oh my God, Gossip Girl!" And I looked at her and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Nothing." She's like, "I'll be quiet." And I was like, "Okay, right." Fast forward a couple years later, me and this girl that I was at the theater with were married now, right? And she gets me to watch Gossip Girl with her, right? I'm just watching a couple episodes, and I'm like, whatever, I'll watch these couple episodes. When she goes to bed, I end up starting from the very beginning. I was like, fuck it, now I'm interested, now I'm intrigued. So I start watching Gossip Girl, and Sebastian Stan is on the show, right? He ain't shut up on the show yet, but the following day, I wake up, start watching Gossip Girl. She sees me watching Gossip Girl, and she's like, really? You're watching this? That's insane. I never thought in a million years. I was like, well, shit's interesting now. I gotta know. And this girl's a bitch. I kind of hope she dies. And so I'm watching, and she's sitting next to me. And Sebastian Stan, he's a character in Gossip Girl. He shows up, and I'm just like, Bucky! And she's like, that's exactly what I was talking about in the theater. I was like, oh, that's why you said Gossip Girl. I get it, right. Same, yeah, got it, right. He looks so much younger here because he was, yes. Dude, Sisu? Yeah, that was, I wish I could have, yeah, say more by saying nothing. That's the kind of attitude I wish Winter Soldier had. I did like Sisu. That was just like their country's version of John Wick, man. Really. For their country's version of John Wick, if John Wick was in the military instead of assassination organization, like a criminal underground organization. Oh. All right, dudes. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for hanging out. If y'all have any music requests for tomorrow, be sure to put them in, or we'll just go live on YouTube again. So if you have any variety requests, put them in. I'll just go live on whatever has the most requests, whether it be YouTube or variety. So put in what you want to put in, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go deal with my niece, make sure she eats, feed her, feed myself. I haven't eaten all day. So have a good evening, guys and gals. Thank you so much for hanging. If you want anything, hit me up. I will see y'all tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.